You have 68 wins. You cannot 69 Mina.
Hey everyone, it is the center of attention, Brittany Brooks, and you are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Come on over, Simply. I'm being see, earlier I said something stupid to him, and now this is my receipt. Okay.
Sabu's just sabotaging you.
Yeah. He sure did.
Hijacking.
Yeah, he's taking over.
Hijacking is a better word. You're right.
Good luck.
What up, everybody? This is the People's Babushka, and you are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Shout out to Simply Reliable Studios making their Symphony debut, sponsoring this match and the entire Dragon Kai demonstration.
What's up, everybody? It is the hottest flame, the realest Hogan, the bionic baddie, Kiera Hogan, period, and you are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Noah. I believe in Datula. The Meltzer of the multiverse. Who the fuck wants to compare themselves to another? How much of a mark do you have to be? You couldn't even pick a professional athlete. You went with a fucking journalist? Grow up, man.
We just want to say thank you to Simply Reliable Studios for voting us as Tag Team of the Year.
Of course.
Because you know what they say, right? If you can't swim,
You're bound to drown.
Tonight, she is sponsored by Simply Reliable Studios from Orlando, Florida. She is everybody's favorite BFF, Izzy Marino.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the weekly moderated insanity known as the Shenanigans here across the Simply Reliable Studios brand of channels. It is I, your moderator extraordinaire, the renegade of wrestling, JJ Williams, back in the host seat, joined by the Island of Misfit Toys, the simple man Noah Foster.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back here once again to the Simply Reliable Studios. You know what this is? Brand cements and brands of voice success for a great fall-faced professional wrestling. Damn it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in the rest of the panel. First and foremost, my partner in Love the Bed in AEW. We call the rest of the light and probably upset stomach mindset for some other stuff tonight. It is, of course, Mr. Reliable, Simply Reliable, in true original form, Walter Cruz.
Ronda won in literally 17 fucking seconds. She tackled Gina. Gina fought a little bit. She turned to the side, got that armbar, and she tapped. Literally 17 seconds in the first round.
Well, at least I know I can last longer than Gina Carano. We've got one half of the Canadian connection and a man who just got done doing some hockey coverage with the Stat Boy. Nick is here. What is up, sir?
Why were you guys talking about boobies for 45 minutes?
Theme of the week, today's.
She's yours, she's mine, she's our Canadian friend, Ash. That's actually elegant and not fake. Hello, Ash, how are you?
Enough is enough. I've had it with these motherfucking AEW wrestlers winning my motherfucking New Japan title.
Make sure you tune in every week because you never know who's going to drop in to join the Shenanigans. We do have the man who started it all. Jeff Meacham is with us.
I'm impressed with what's going on at the JCW. I'm happy for Russo. I'm happy for Vito. I am a viewer, again, when I can get home and sit my ass down for a half hour, whatever it is, and enjoy that shit.
Popping out before midnight virtually on this app. It is my cohort as fellow gamer and crazy wrestling watching aficionado, Charles Schultz, will also be joining me tonight in the fray as I welcome you into the Shenanigans once again at the end of this fine Saturday.
I just want to keep seeing Mr. Guana show up every single time and just Polyaska. I'm still agreeing with JJ. We still need that freaking multi-person puppet match.
A puppet is not a competitor!
Sex dolls are competitors if you go to the right company.
Teleporting in via the morphing grid, our very own Pink Ranger is here.
Hey,
everybody. You know, I know the firing of Scott Moore was controversial, but I feel like he needed to go in order for TNA to grow. Don't get me wrong, we had some good stuff under Scott Moore, but the company was just stagnant. And you know, look how much they've grown.
If this is what it took for her to acknowledge some of my NXT talent, then I'm here for it. Because we know she doesn't work Tuesdays. So the fact that she watches Thursdays and is still getting exposed to my talent, like, hey, something happened, right? She told me the other night that Trick and A was some of the best stuff in TNA.
Yeah, I actually really did like Trick and A.
I was completely shocked and blown away to discover it was Chad Gable under that mask. I had no idea. I would have never guessed it. I never saw it coming. This was just mind-numbing. This was like the reveal that Juan Cena was John Cena. I never in a million years would have guessed that Chad Gable was going to be that match.
Is Fleet ever going to lose that title?
Well, you know, everyone can be a dickhead, but how strong a dickhead are you is the real question. I have a pretty strong dick.
I'll take your report.
Good night, everybody. Hopefully no one else heard that.
Cool.
Oy vey, if there was ever a week to not be dealing with professional wrestling, it's this. When did this become the injury report? But I digress. Booger! Good evening, everybody, and welcome back once again to the weekly moderated conversation of wrestling madness. That is the Saturday Shenanigans, also known this week as your injury report, brought to you by Rage of Wrestling. I am, of course, the moderator for this weekend's Shenanigans, the simple man of the simple brand, the voice there SRS, forever grateful for all things professional wrestling, damn it, beyond bonitos to all of you. And my name is Noah Foster, so let's go ahead and get right into things. And of course, I am never alone, as right now, it is not just I, but tonight you have Simply Reliable, as I am with the Rage of Wrestling, Walter Cruz. So thank all of you for tuning in, whether live or on demand. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. And if you want to dictate the conversation, super chat at PayPal, the past simple as that. I'm just going to say this right now. I'm hot, I'm tired, and I deal with children. But nonetheless, it is what it is. And I don't even have children. Thank the Lord. That being said, I know this man does, and he probably feels the same way for other reasons, but it's still good to see him anyway. Walter, how are you this evening?
I'm feeling good. Felt a little awkward. I'm not on Joyce, but I saw a floating talking head a second ago. Thank God you came on screen. But
I was this close to staying on Avatar. I was this close, honestly.
Our panels better join before I turn this into an impromptu collision watch along and rather have fun with that.
Oh, trust me, Continental Cup. Instead of talking about injuries and freaking other nonsense, I'd be all over it. Maybe I'll do that as my own simple session later this week. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for the next Simple Moment Bash. Good stuff tonight, but again, in this name of integrity and reliability, blah, 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 we remain hashtags for the free, so folks, don't spoil collision, and also keep your mentality up when it comes to these injuries that you have no control over, but I guess they're still part of the conversation. All right, well, that was short, sweet, and simple. Hey, you know what? Two-man booth. Maybe we'll get this done in an hour. I'll be perfectly fine with that because I am tired as... And for those that are wondering, the regular wrestling J.J. Williams was enjoying himself at a live wrestling experience. So, there you go. Good to see Darren G and Sarah Ye, Safet, and all of you in the chat and all those watching across all outlets here at the Simple Studios, as well as all those watching at the NoDQ Galaxy YouTube channel, aka the Aaron Rip personal YouTube channel. Say, yeah, to NoDQ. And again, he who shall not be named will be on episode 400, so stay tuned for the next episode of the NoDQ review. But without further ado, Walter and Simple Lab Studios community and NoDQ Galaxy associates for that matter. Let's get right into it. Again, this week is brought to you by one word, and I think this color is more appropriate because if there was ever a time for some people to be injured, it was this week. We have suffered a sustainable amount of injuries, and we also will honor a great passing of a legend that took things to the extreme. And I say extreme in the highest regard when it comes to this man, considering who he's influenced and the crazy bleep that he did. We'll kick things off, though, talking about Mommy Rhea Ripley, since Mommy's always on top. Speaking of someone that usually is on top, I'm not playing the trope. I'm not in the mood tonight. I'm tired. And plus, it's simpler with me. But you all know what I'm about to say, because she's yours, she's mine, she's our Canadian friend, and the more proper Canadian that we appropriately tolerate. Ash.
Hello.
Hello, Ash. How are you?
Well, now
I'm
she's on the
good.
bottom.
Well, you know, I have to be the host, so there you go. This is the host window. Acknowledge me. Don't acknowledge me. The less the internet knows about me, the better. Anyway, Ash, how you been?
I'm doing very well. Just making sure this little buddy stays out of trouble.
Oh, look, we got a cat. Just as Aaron says. Everyone, take a look. There's an orange kitty. Enjoy it. And nothing better than a pussy cat.
A Canadian
on
one at
camera.
that.
I'm not sure what the difference between Canadian pussy and American pussy is, but
Looks
that's a
like
whole
the one we're going
different
to be talking about pretty soon, am I right?
Well, now that you bring that up, while we all might be a hot mess, let's get right into the thing, shall we? First and foremost, we're going to kick things off with, again, welcome to the Simple Alba Studios injury report. As we've had a plethora of injuries, we're going to first talk about Mommy, Rhea Ripley. Further details have come out regarding Rhea Ripley's injury. Shout out, of course, to this information. This is not in regards to breaking HIPAA regulations, as this is public knowledge, as reported by No DQ and discovered by the Renegade Wrestling J.J. Williams. Rhea Ripley undergoes surgery now for a torn meniscus. As a result, Chelsea, who seemingly just won the Interim Women's Championship, and we will talk about that here shortly as a sub-tangent, Interim apparently may have been removed. So, what do we expect from... Oh. Right.
What?
Okay, you go from the best day of your life to the worst day of your life, but I don't know. She's like, well, now you give a smile anyways. Maybe I should have rephrased this. Let's just go ahead and talk about Mommy real quick. What does the lack of Rhea Ripley mean in the WWE when it comes to the pedigree of the SmackDown Women's Division and the Women's Division of the main roster as we know it? And when do we think Rhea is going to return so Mommy can be on top? When is the appropriate time? Is the Royal Rumble, much like Tiffy time at number 30, when they go back down under at a day that we don't know, or even closer to WrestleMania season, even though it's in Saudi Arabia? Let's go ahead and see what one thinks about Mommy. When does she get on top again? When would you like to see her on top again? Walter, I'll start with you. When do you think the best time is for Rhea Ripley to return?
Torn meniscus. Not a doctor. Believe that's 4 to 8 weeks, something like that. So on the fast side, you could do 4 weeks.
On the long side,
8, which is 2 months. We're in August. That's October, November. Maybe after War Games, you a la CM Punk make it look like the thing is ending, and you pop Mommy out, and she goes nose to nose with somebody, but. Then that means you have to involve whoever the woman champion is at that time, and it better still be Chelsea. But whoever the women's champion is at that time, and you can go nose to nose with them. But then again, there'll be 5 people out there unless you clear it and you do something like that. But I would guess Royal Rumble is the other spot. Just give her extra time. There's no need to rush back and then risk her being injured again. And the women's division does miss her, but we did just get Stephanie Becker back and Becky Lynch on Monday, so Raw's is okay. SmackDown, they're not the strongest women division, and at least it seems like the booking doesn't allow them to be. I don't know why they don't have faith in this. Like, let people do things. Just try. Actually, there's the silver lining. When people go out and get hurt, try new things. They did it. They gave Chelsea the win, and we're going to talk about what happened last night, but you tried something out of the box, different and new. You got Money in the Bank coming up, so we'll find out who wins that and who challenges that title. That's interesting. Just try something. And I'm not talking about just throwing shit at the wall and see if it sticks.
No. I know you don't mean that.
Just please give somebody a chance who we don't expect. Just pull the trigger. Like, we as fans will get behind somebody. Just give us some good booking, because I'm a huge Julia fan from Japan and from everything she did in WWE. She was cool in NXT. She came to SmackDown, and it's like, what the hell did you do with her? Like, it's damn near disrespectful. It is disrespectful, not damn near, what you've done to this poor woman. Like, I feel bad for how you booked her. Like, she's relegated to being a squash match, 2 minutes for Lash to get into a ladder match. Like, can we do something with Julia? Like, this is the time to do things that are with people who aren't usually, pardon the pun, on top. Mommy's gone. This is your time to say, who do we have waiting in the wings? Whenever there's somebody who falls or anything like that, there's always somebody waiting in the wings, biting, scratching, and calling to get over, to get to that top spot. You got to take your chances and let somebody do it. Give us somebody, even if we don't expect it and we're not behind them now, give anybody the chance. Look what you did with JC Jane when she was in NXT. Who the fuck saw her beating Stephanie Vaquero? What happened after she beat him? Look what she became. Like,
You're not with the results.
Yeah, give us a chance, please do something. But all the best to her. But take your time, mommy. Don't rush it. I know. I think it's 4 to 8 weeks if I remember. I heard something like that before with the torn meniscus, depending on the tear or the, if it's a deep tear, one tear, it's not completely off the bone, so it depends. But yeah, don't rush her back.
Yeah, arm injuries and leg injuries, the mental state of just dealing with those while you're dealing with them and even dealing with recovery. Ask Chris Statlander about her double knees, for Pete freaking sake. All right, fair enough. And again, I'm not a doctor, but it just seems significant anymore. It's either arm or leg that sends somebody out for an indefinite period of time. Although I see we're going to talk about a different injury here shortly. Thank you for that, Walter. And again, for those that don't know, it's speculated the Royal Rumble is going to be next year in February, so later than usual. So again, I have no idea what the flip they're doing. But for Rhea Ripley, for all the crap that she lets get to her from the internet, whether she plays with it or sometimes finally playing with fire, you get burned, maybe getting sick of it and drained from it, I hope that this is a great time for her to mentally clear herself as much as physically recover. I hope personally, though, after what happened with Timothy Stratton, for example, I mean, she got injured, though, lingering in the fall season. Maybe the Royal Rumble would be the best spot to try and rehab mommy on the road to WrestleMania, because you do have potential now to really try some new fun things in the women's division with the likes of Fatal Influence, Chelsea Green, and spoiler alert for SmackDown for those that don't know, Tatum Paxley is apparently now part of the roster, and she's with Little Miss Bliss. You would almost think this is a mother-daughter unit. Yes, you heard me right. Tatum Paxley's on SmackDown, not with Lyra Valkyria. And again, now you go watch that on YouTube. All right, thank you, Walter. Well, that being said, Ash Slajan A, again, Chelsea Green, our world leader in the Hot Mess We Trust. Again, this poor woman, it's always the up and downs and all around her every day in her life. Whether it was her friends that couldn't make it across the Canadian border, to see her win on Sunday, to her winning on Sunday finally, to her getting injured. Damn it. Now, according to what Chelsea Green has disclosed, she disclosed that she apparently suffered and this is where we really need to think about this, potentially a broken orbital bone. She ended up in the emergency room and found out that she basically had a orbital. It's an occupation hazard. It's wrestling. It's television. It looks amazing, all things considered. It feels awful, but looks pretty amazing. I have no idea what this means for me. Usually you guys have seen me play every single injury, but this feels different, obviously. It feels frustrating. I'm upset. I feel like if I didn't have bad luck, I have no luck at all. So I just need to take a little bit more time to process and heal from the head trauma that is going right now. Then we'll see what happens. Again, Chelsea Green, on behalf of our studios, wish you all the best in recovery. Get well soon. Please don't lose the title. Ash, I now go to you. Your outlook, particularly on Chelsea Green. If this injury is not as severe as we hope it is, and again, you all can look at Eddie Kingston, for example, when you have literally a fractured orbital bone that screws up your vision, that screws up your mind, that gives you seizures, that's a whole different animal that could affect your literal brain. With that in mind, Ash, what do you think the outlook is on Chelsea Green being the champion that we need for WWE, for SmackDown, and what you hope comes from it, and worst case scenario, what happens with it?
I hope this injury is not as severe and she gets to keep that title, because it would suck so much if she just won the title and has to quickly relinquish it, much like how Finn Balor had to at SummerSlam 2016, 10 years ago. Because right now, what other babyface do they have on the roster that they can, for the top billing, other than Charlotte, who's right now dealing with Jade Cargill and her baddies. It just this could not have come at a worse time, and hopefully it's not as bad.
All right. Well, with that in mind, Slade and A, let's talk about Mommy. What do you think about Mommy's expectations of returning, and where would you ballpark her to return to try and bring back her brutality to the blue brand?
I'd say wait until Royal Rumble to have her return, because we don't want to have her return too early and just make the injury a lot like worsen it. Is give her plenty of time to recover, and when she's fully healed, then have her return. And if it's at Royal Rumble, then have her be as like one of the surprise entrants. That would get the crowd going.
All right, fair enough. And again, we've also, as Chelsea Green has told us, she has literally played through injuries as well. But again, the extent of orbital bone side effects and damages, they are not that great. Effects include but not limited to double vision, including diplopia, pain with movement, blurred or reduced sight, sunken eye where the eyeball looks like it's pushed back as the swelling goes down. And again, physical and nerve damage also comes from this, whether it's facial, swelling and bruising, even nausea and vomiting. So again, we don't know the extent of it, but this is no joke. And countless others, of course, have also dealt with it. But again, Chelsea Green, who has always somehow pushed through adversity. It's been the story of her whole life. Here's the official quote, by the way, for you folks, in case you're wondering, as she shared with multiple outlets via her Instagram, actually, as she posts a video. Again, get well soon. Just got to take it one day at a time. We know SmackDown is next week Friday. We'll have to see how they play on this. Maybe Tiffany Stratton could be in a segment with her over the phone. They tease who she's going to face. Please be Jessie Jane and not Nia Jax. Again, I really do hope that, again, she finds a way to actually make this work in her favor and for our entertainment, and while we have invested trust in her. So that's all I got to really say about that. Now, with that being said, there is, of course, another correspondent who also has thoughts on Rhea Ripley and Chelsea Green. So I am now going to share you this video feed, courtesy of the man himself, Jeff Mudef Meacham, and then we will disclose our thoughts based on what he says before we move into our next topic. Everyone take a listen.
Well, first off, let me just send all the well wishes to Rhea Ripley. It's crazy to me that it's taken this long at the pace she's been on in WWE to have I'm going to be gone for a very long while surgery. And I'll talk about that with the Brie Bella thing as well. So I'm so mad about that. Anyway, I really believe that if they WWE pronouns, pal, if they want to set Chelsea Green up for long-term success and don't, put another roadblock in front of her of that level, then you almost have to make her championship status like permanent, like legit, like she's the champion. The surgery that Rhea had, it's a torn meniscus, so it is a shorter recovery time, if I remember right. But you still don't know when you're going to get that program back. And the program, the storyline is now completely different than when, it was just going to be an interim champion and Chelsea would face Rhea when Rhea came back. We don't know now when Rhea is coming back for sure. And, there was a storyline built in with Jade Cargill for Rhea Ripley. Chelsea's got storylines already. If you watch SmackDown yesterday, there's the thing with Lash at Nia. There's the possibility of Tiffany Stratton turning on Chelsea and having that, the world champion versus the U.S. champion. That was always the deal back in the old WCW days, so why not? But I really think that the interim champion needs to be removed from Chelsea Green. And Agent of Chaos fully admitted, I copped to that shit. It would drive the haters crazy, and it would bring the Patriots to their feet. It would reinforce everything that people spoke out against Michael Hayes when he made that comment on Real, and it'd be such a great discussion topic for, I don't know, a panel show, something like Saturday Shenanigans, maybe. Definitely take that interim title, the interim word off of her. Chelsea Green, is the WWE Women's Champion. I cannot say it enough.
Thank you for that, Jeff Meacham. And I can confirm, in case you're all wondering, yes, the interim was officially removed as she was announced officially on SmackDown on television as the Women's Champion. Orbital, bone, fret, or not, she is right now and forever will be known as if not the WWE Women's Champion. So good for her. So, again, to Jeff's point, though, there are so many incredible talents there. We've seen the rise of Fatal Influence. They still, of course, have the tag team titles. They offered Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green a shot at the titles where all hell broke loose, and this happened with the freaking interference of that bougie bitch and, of course, the walking hazard of 2020 that seems to be far better in 2026 for all it's worth. And again, there's this before since I figured they'd be focusing on the tag titles, but again, heel and heel, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton, both of them could have a unique chemistry. Both of them could entertain one another. Of course, Tiffany Stratton holding the title that the title that only Chelsea Green has defined in its existence. And yeah, we have seen before these situations where we have champion versus champion and not necessarily title for title. So I would love to see an out of nowhere, just literal someone's like, Tiffany, you want a shot? I'll give you a shot. Jesse Jane, you want to talk smack on my show when I am the ruler of the world? I will defend this against you at freaking the Crown Jewel, whatever the show is. I really do hope there's bigger expectations for Chelsea Green still holding on to this title and she's not vacated from it. As far as Rhea Ripley goes, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. This business could be both mentally and physically taxing. It could break you both ways. Multiple people have come back from meniscuses, though, as I've said. But again, if she's hardline to the better part of 2027, that's a hard timeline for SmackDown to truly reset the SmackDown division, and they're right now in baby stages. And right now, the face of the division is right now up in the air on what extent she can offer for our entertainment and for that women's division investment as their champion, the champion. She's not interim, folks. Again, she's the champion. So I have concerns here, honestly. But again, looking at the talent, if Charlotte Flair's doing Jade Cargill, okay, keep both away from the title. Or somehow have Jade Cargill injured and Charlotte Flair goes after Chelsea Green, because I just think that would be an extremely humorous match considering what Chelsea and Charlotte might interpret each other as. You know, the jester and the queen. It writes itself. Jade Cargill never to be champion again. We tried that experiment. Done. The baddies, they are simply that. Just baddies. No one cares about them. Go work at Magic Walk. And as far as Tina Paxley, Alexa Bliss, tag team maybe, you know, go after Fatal Influence, you know, pop out of the dark and come in the light. Speaking of which, believe it or not, coming out of the manhole before midnight. Walter, I'll pass off to you as soon as I introduce Charles Schultz. Charles, how are you?
Feels like a long time. Well, hello, everybody.
It's been a while since we heard your voice, Avatar Man. The only real Avatar Man, the Saturday Shenanigans that we appreciate and acknowledge. That being said, before I give you your thoughts on this, Walter, I saw your hand. What you got to say real quick?
I think we'll be all right with Chelsea because I remember, I don't know if it was last year or a couple of years ago, she broke her nose and they just had her with her mask still coming out. True. And being her, quote unquote, annoying. I don't find it annoying, but, you know, being herself. So I feel like they could still keep her strong. She doesn't have to wrestle in the ring. And you remember Undertaker in 95? I believe it was, broke his orbital and he had that phantom mask on and they let him wrestle or whatever.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember
so,
that.
I think Chelsea can just stay strong, maybe on commentator or on the mic, and still keep the women's division going as we develop the next challenger. So I think we'll be fine. I don't think she'll have to give up the title or anything. Yeah, she'll just find a way to put on a mask and make it look like a hot mess and still continue her character.
And as long as she can still freaking see clearly and walk cognitively without getting motion sickness, because again, that could be side effects. But I do like that outlook. And again, if she can't be there, have her talk on the phone. Somehow FaceTime it. Have it on speaker. Somehow you have to keep Chelsea Green engaged in the SmackDown division. She's their champion. Damn it. Period. Simple as
It's just
that.
bad. Not that there's ever a good time. It's just bad timing. Because I really felt it last night. I thought Tiffany was gonna turn on her. Because if you look at Tiffany's character and the way she is and how she kind of fits into Fatal Influence. If you think about it, like she fits the. So maybe that's where they were gonna go, and that's what it's gonna lead. When she loses the title, she's gonna start blaming Chelsea, and I think that's where we were gonna go. Like those two fighting one-on-one. Or maybe she did join Fatal Influence, but I'm kind of hoping that is where they go.
Look, we don't need any more heels when there's an offset balance of heels and faces on the SmackDown division when they don't know what to do with the glamour. Blake Monroe, nor with Julia, to your point, all right? Right now, they don't even know what's underneath Chelsea Green. So if Tiffany Stratton being along her side is the best tangent, go along with that. Hell, Tiffany Stratton had fallout with Fallon Henry and freaking NXT at one point. Switch the roles. Tiffany's the baby face and freaking Fallon's the heel. Build a singles out of that, and maybe they go after the tag team championships again, or maybe that's a crutch to find Jessie Jane as a fatal influence in the challenger conversation, much you were talking about. Charles, let's go ahead and get some thoughts for you before we get back to action, maybe close this thing out. What's your outlook on Rhea Ripley? Time of return, you think that's appropriate? And what do you expect from Chelsea Green as the WWE Women's Champion?
Well, first of all, the Rhea thing. I expect her to be back at the Rumble as a surprise entry. That's the more realistic than I see happening. As far as the Chelsea thing go, she cannot catch a break.
Never has.
First SummerSlam, the whole going with friends and all that, and then literally gets injured the week after. What is happening here? that bell is
life.
That bell is not having a good year. It seems like with injuries.
Well,
Two injuries back to back.
You're about to say the summer of injuries decided to happen in August versus July and freaking June. Ain't that some crazy bleep?
Exactly.
Bloody hell.
Can't get your break, folks. How it is.
Well, there's a reason why I got a sign my living that says it is what it is, but somehow I still keep going, despite the fact that, again, I am so not in the mood right now. Because between this stuff and stuff in my life, things right now are just absolutely ridiculous. But you gotta keep stepping, as Dustin Rhodes says, persevere. Ash, anything further that you want to add regarding Chelsea Green, cause the fact now that she's the champion? What program would you like to see develop first? Fatal Influence, Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair, name we haven't mentioned.
So I wouldn't mind seeing Jessie Jane go after the title if she doesn't win the U.S. title next week, which I would love because, oh my God, Fatal Influence draped in all gold.
Oh,
yes,
Lord.
Please. Yes. Give me that.
It's a takeover! It's a takeover! I don't like it. It's a takeover.
Who else can we have? This might be too early, but Blake Monroe, because they haven't really done anything with her other than like, hey, she's here. Look out.
Yeah, you remember the woman from hell never had something so sinister, so glamorous seems so sinister? Have a hot mess and a freaking woman from hell fight each other? Yes, please.
Julia's another person I wouldn't mind if we can build her up, unless she's stuck in unless they're going to have her go after Tiffany Stratton. It's the women's division in SmackDown is just all over the place right now, and that's not a very good look.
I feel like she's been reduced to main events.
Ooh, that's sad. How the mighty have fallen.
When was she mighty to begin with in the Fed?
NXT.
For how long?
I mean, it's Julia. That's the sad part with Julia. It's just like they were damned if they did and damned if they didn't. It's just like, my God, this is like I don't want to be this person, but maybe people were right when they said WWE just hired her, so AEW wouldn't have her. I'm just
well, I mean, the
not
word
to
of
be
the
all
day.
like tinfoil hat and shit, but
Yeah, of course. The word of the day might as well be petty. So, I mean, just saying. Well, that being said, again, Chelsea Green, congratulations. Now you're official champion. Who cares? And also, because again, it's Fed talk. Let's be honest here. He doesn't talk Fed. He doesn't acknowledge the Fed. Let's just be honest here.
Fair point.
The Fed is literally a detergent, a friggin' bug spray for Nick. All right? Let's just call it what it is. I do think he cares about Chelsea Green because she's Canadian, but also, Nick's one of those that just kind of goes on his own role. And probably the missus dictates that too. So, Nick, all the best. Again, we'll see you around some point, you crazy canut. JJ, we'll see you here soon, folks. And again, to Chelsea Green, I really want to see you drive this division into a hot mess more than the mess that WWE's already created. Rhea Ripley, get well soon. All right, let's go ahead and change gears now into another sub-tangent where we not look at an injury, but we look at an honoring of the extreme of sorts, because we've once again had a passing. Dory Funk Jr. passed away and rejoined his brother, Terry Funk, now in the wrestling ring in the sky with the other legends for the next Heaven Mania that we want's fantasy book. Go check that out in the archives, folks, on the Shenanigans. And on behalf of Sub Studios, we want to give our condolences, and of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to Kim, his friends, affected family members, and loved ones. So, whether or not you all followed anybody who mentioned the name Dory Funk Jr. or watched ECW or any of the batshit crazy stuff that he did, I think we'll start off with the historian's outlook on Dory Funk's passing and contributions to the business, and then let our own thoughts. So, Jeff Meacham, once again, take it away.
Yeah, it's a little different for me. I'm one of the old school fans that didn't really get that far old school. Didn't really get to see a whole lot of Dory Funk, the wrestler, and even really get a chance to talk to Dory as a podcaster, as an interviewer. I interviewed Terry back in, I think it was 2003. We had Terry on the old Extreme Mayhem show. It may have been early 04, but I'm pretty sure it was 2003 because that was our only full year we did the audio, and we had so many people on. You hear great stuff about Dory Funk Jr. I have yet to hear a bad word against Dory Funk Jr. They talk about the title change between him and was supposed to be Jack Briscoe, and ended up being Dory to Harley Race to Jack Briscoe, and some of the old school kabuki-ish wrestling bullshit of the territory era and how that went down. But yeah, that's wrestling, folks. It is what it is. I am definitely of the nothing but respect mindset for the Funks. I am grateful that Dory's Funkin' Conservatory, the Funkin' Dojo, whatever you want to call it, produced so many Hall of Fame talents, developed so many wrestlers that I got a chance to watch and see live and meet and just experience their careers. And it's because of Dory Funk Jr. and the Funkin' Dojo and working with the WWF back in the day that I got to see Kurt Angle, Edge and Christian, Lita, people like that. So I didn't get a chance to meet or really speak with Dory in any way, but I'm grateful for the existence of Dory Funk Jr. in professional wrestling because his contributions as a wrestler and as a trainer and as a real ambassador to the sport, not just the business, but the sport of professional wrestling, I don't think you can measure it properly. But definitely sending out all the vibes I can to Marty, his widow, and to the entire family and everybody that loved and got a chance to know and be close with Dory Funk Jr. Very sad. Very, very, it's always tough when we lose people in wrestling. Our community kind of comes together in things like this, and it's real sad.
Thank you very much, Jeff. And of course, my extent of knowledge, primarily because I'm shooting on pro wrestling, I know that the Funks were a huge part along the lines with the Pacific Wrestling Federation, and of course, influencing talents. And you remember the name of this promotion? All Japan Pro Wrestling, sharing the ring with the likes of Stan Hansen, Antonio Inoki. In fact, I was actually looking at the archives of their history. The very first match together as a team, the Funks, took on Antonio Inoki and Giant Baba all the way back in 1970. They were heavy influencers throughout all the 1980s, the early half of the 1980s, actually, in All Japan. Sharing the ring, like I said, Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen, Terry Funk, and Dory Funk, they literally trailblazed their way through All Japan Wrestling through the early half of the 1980s as a tag team against all those great names. Of course, going into the WWF, Junkyard Dog, Tito Santana, just looking at some of the match history, I was looking into it, Dynamite Kid, and of course, more recently, of course, Bob Backlund and Tatsumi Fujinami. So it's one of those things that both Funks definitely contributed so much to training and enhancing the business, and also Dory Funk Jr. is a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, actually one of the longest, Bronson.
He held it for about 4 years, I think.
At
If I
1,563 days,
yeah.
I was just looking at the number just to get my numbers right. So all I can say is to these innovators of Extreme, but bridging the gaps of professional wrestling, especially in the Japanese territories and the Pacific Northwest. Thank you so much. All the best, and prayers and condolences to all affected parties. Before I let you all speak, coming in now to get back into the co-host dudes, because I'm keeping us on the clock for 2 hours, and we ain't going any longer than that, damn it. Please welcome in the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams, who will now, much like Jeff, probably give his thoughts towards this, and then once everyone else talks about this, he can circle back, or I'll run it back to him for Chelsea Grimmer Ripley, and we'll take our first commercial break. Avatar Man, Chase U alumni, Unaccredited University. Good to see you, JJ. How are you? Or hear you.
Good to be seen.
All right, good deal.
I know how much you love hearing that.
Well, I mean, stick with your shticks, like to say.
Speaking of sticking to shtick, nice to see Walter as well. Ash looking lovely as always. Even Charles is here. Long time no see, Charles.
Good to see you again, JJ.
Well,
Echo effect,
can't
pigs in
see,
space.
can't see you. You haven't popped your head out of the sewer yet.
Freaking chart.
Oh, there he is.
There you go. Saw a moment of him. Anyway, JJ, good to hear you. I know you had a good time, and again, this, of course, right now is the peace in all of the chaos in our lives. So let's talk about the fact now that the Funks are resting in peace on the road to Heaven Mania. What are your thoughts on the Funk Brothers' contributions, particularly, of course, the passing of Dory Funk Jr.? And did you watch any of his matches? Did it have any impact of you as a fan? Your closing remarks.
So I think we're all in this room too young to have ever really watched Dory Funk.
Had to go in the archives.
And that's saying something, considering I will be 50 this month.
God bless you.
I think the only match of his I've ever really seen was his WrestleMania 2 match.
You and I called it.
We did. It hasn't made air yet, but yeah, we called it. We have it recorded to be uploaded and posted at a later date, but I think that's literally the only match of his I've ever seen. I know he had a death match either earlier this year or later last year at like 83 years old or whatever.
Crazy effing mother effer.
And I'm like, are we just trying to set a Guinness World Record for the oldest deathmatch participant at this point? Like, what are we doing here, Dory?
You're speaking about the guy who did a double hell current explosion death match with Atsushi Onita and Rajan Yaguchi.
God bless you.
You idiot. That's what I get for being the Japanese wrestling fan. Anyway, continue.
But I know Jeff touched upon it in his video, and I'm going to kind of echo his sentiment. I think what I'll remember Dory for the most is his legacy as far as helping the future of the business. The Funkin' Dojo, the Funkin' Conservatory is responsible for Matt and Jeff Hardy, Edge and Christian, Kurt Angle, amongst others. I mean, just off of those 5 alone, you damn near have a Hall of Fame training induction for Dory Funk Jr.
Accurate.
Just for being responsible for those names. And then there's more that have come through the Funkin' Dojo, Funkin' Conservatory. So I think that's what I'm always going to think of the most when I think of Dory, is what he passed on to future generations, as you were kind of saying as you brought me in, Noah.
I also want to point out here, you know the trope we hear all the time about Texas Deathmatch? Yeah. He's the guy that actually wrote a little book, proverbially, about that very match. And there's actually a little YouTube video if you want to learn more about the history and, if you want to call it integrity, I guess it's violent integrity, of that match form going all the way back to 1981. You can go watch that right now on YouTube. So with that being said, thank you, Dory Funk Jr. Rest in peace, Funks. All right, let's go to Ash next and see if she has any thoughts, since she's a deathmatch queen. You're looking at pretty much a deathmatch pioneer in his own right, but he also, of course, did much more than that. Ash, do you have any outlook towards the Funks based on what you heard? And also, do you have anything you want to add on behalf of the contributes that Dory Funk Jr. has given to the wrestling business? Or do you as a fan?
I unfortunately don't have anything to add because I know nothing about the Funks.
And neither does the other Canadian, but at least one's here, so continue.
Knows nothing about the Funks, never seen a Bret Hart match.
They just add it to the list.
Falls behind in every tournament she watches.
Add it to the list.
Do I need to keep going, Ash?
I'm going to build a profile page, and I'm going to display it, and it's going to be our lovely Ash, and it's going to be orange and black, and then it's going to have everything that is a con about her.
Might as well make it like a bingo card of stuff I haven't seen yet.
Stay tuned, folks. Bingo brought to you by Ash can't get anything done because she's busy with priorities over passions.
I thought she graduated already because she's still got a whole lot of homework.
Nope. But if she doesn't get it done soon, she might repeat the grade. That being said, I don't ever see her flunking, but that being said, you got nothing to say, though, about Dory Funk or anything like that. Well, I just want to encourage you, look at All Japan Pro Wrestling, look up their tag team matches. Enough said. All right. Thank you, Ash. Walter, it's on you, bruv. What do you guys say regarding Dory Funk Jr.'s contributions to the business? Go ahead.
Again, too young to have seen and heard of him live, but, you know, archives exist and things like that. When you hear that name Funk, it's just synonymous with death matches, hardcore. The whole family is just crazy. I mean,
they were crazy out of the womb.
Yeah, right. They were born crazy. But yeah, to have an NWA NWA reign that was like 4 years, like,
there you go.
Suck on that, like, for a little bit, and
still longer than Roman.
Right? Like, we lost a legend, and at least he's reunited with his brother, and in that crazy death match up in the sky or whatever, if you believe in that stuff. So maybe he's in an eternal death match now with his brother. So he left a legacy that might not be matched, but I mean, I'm sure if you ask anybody who wrestled in the 80s, early 90s, I'm sure there's not a single person who wants to say they were influenced in some way by this man. So, you know, may he sleep in peace.
I'm about to say, him and Adam Page owes him a lot of credit when it comes to the fact he might as well have been the one to create Texas Deathmatch, why him and Adam Page has a mixed record in that. It's defined pretty much some of the biggest, damnedest moments of its AEW career. And shout out again, as always, to another historian in his own right, Tony Schiavone, along with Nigel McGuinness and Paul White. They also gave their own contributions tonight on Collision, as I'm looking at a little bit more history and also like acknowledgments here from the wrestling business in regards to Dory Funk Jr. and his contributions. If anyone knows about Dory Funk as much as JJ and Jeff does, it's probably Tony Schiavone, who knows more than all of us combined. That being said, rest in peace, Dory Funk Jr., and enjoy heaven violently. That's an oxymoron. I don't think that's supposed to work like that. All right. Well, thank you for that. Okay. That being said,
you can add Test and Mickey James to his list.
About to say, like you said, there's probably more names that even we don't know that goes older than the Fed or WWF. Hell, I talked about the influences alone with All Japan, including the founder of New Japan. Their first damn tag match was against the founder of New Japan, freaking Antonio Inoki. So there you go. All right. That being said, Charles, you just on camera here. You also got a thought. Are you good? Okay, you're good. Well, hey, we actually get to see him. Good. All right. Let's go ahead and, yes, Emmanuel, we got a live crowd effect here. Enjoy it, all right? This is double voice versus double vision that Chelsea Green might have. Speaking of which, we're going to run it back real quick to the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams. JJ and Hot Mess We Trust, Orbital Bone, hopefully it's nothing too severe. Rhea Ripley, Return to Be Unknown. You are always the master booker with the pen and paper. That's far better than anybody right now on WWE Real or in the WWE Gorilla position. One, she's no longer interim. It was announced officially on SmackDown. She is the champion. Thank Christ. Two, don't know the extent of the injury. We know how bad it can be. We also know that she's turned every injury into entertainment for our value and actually has gotten more TV time out of it versus most women that we think should. Three, we don't know Rhea Ripley's extent, but I will tell you right now, the consensus of us think that it should be around Royal Rumble. So two-parter for you. Your outlook on Chelsea Green as the champion, what you hope to expect as far as her influence in that division, and when do you think Rhea Ripley should return, and should it be against Chelsea Green, regardless that Chelsea Green should be champion at the time?
Well, let me start with the Rhea Ripley first. I think you guys are spot on as far as Royal Rumble.
Thank you.
I think that's the way to do it. However, that also seems predictable. Every time someone returns from an injury, they come back at the Royal Rumble. And a lot of times they win at the Royal Rumble. Now, we're fond of saying predictability isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Damn it.
But if I had the pen, I would do qualifying matches for the Chamber. And I would have a wild card entrant. That way you could get a little buzz talking. Is it a AAA person? Is it an NXT person? And then Rhea Ripley could return, win, enter the Chamber, go on from there. Not quite as predictable, while still making it a massive move, I think.
Okay.
As far as Chelsea goes, you're right. Every time she's been injured, she's played it up on the camera. She's still been there. She's been able to turn it into comedy gold. The only problem with that, she's the women's champion.
Yes.
At this point, we need to take Chelsea a little bit more seriously than comedy gold.
Agree.
Jeff pointed out in the private chat, and I don't know if you relayed it on screen because it wasn't part of his video, I know.
Oh,
but it's the same injury that Undertaker had back in the day when he wore the mask.
Walter did bring that up, actually.
Okay. So Chelsea in a Undertaker-esque Phantom of the Opera style mask, either red, white, and blue for the whole In Hot Mess We Trust, or even red and white for Canadian colors. Put a maple leaf in the middle of it. Maybe even shape it like a maple leaf instead of the Phantom of the Opera. You know, maybe some girly colors on it. I could see her doing that. It's not so comedy that we can't still take her seriously. And she's allowed to come off as still this badass fighting champion. Because while all the other bitches in the division would have taken the time off, she's still here trying to shove it up the Freebird's ass up Bad Street USA that she deserved this opportunity in the first fucking place.
All right. So it sounds like we're pretty much around the same consensus. Bring the brutality back when the clock hits 0 at the Royal Rumble. Whether or not you're 1, 30, or some other number in between, because believe it or not, there are some numbers that have not won the Royal Rumble yet for the women. And of course, Rhea Ripley, she is an Iron Woman. She actually has literally won the Royal Rumble from beginning to the end position. So, Nick, you're an idiot. You still need to go do your homework, bro.
I like the idea.
I was just going to say, Nick, did you actually watch SmackDown?
The answer is no.
To see them announce her as the actual champion? To see the interim crossed off of her shirt and permanent written in? Because if you don't watch the Fed, you didn't see.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what looking at in highlight actually means. Just saying.
I found that shirt amusing. I was like, yes, as soon as I saw that shirt, I was like, yo, man, like that shit.
Chelsea Green is brilliant.
But in terms of Rhea, I like the idea of her coming out at the end of the Rumble and go nose to nose with the winner, because then you could book Chamber to be the winner gets the shot at WrestleMania, because she never lost the title. She got stripped, so she doesn't have to be in the Rumble. She shouldn't have to throw 29 other women over the top rope to earn a shot again. She should just, whoever the winner is, you come nose to nose with them after they're celebrating, and then that's your Chamber match, a one-on-one. Whoever wins that gets the title shot at WrestleMania.
Well, she did win the Elimination Chamber this year, unless you all forgot. I know, right? Isn't it crazy what the year actually gives?
Yeah, but not a Chamber match, just a one-on-one with whoever won the Rumble, and the winner is the person who goes on to WrestleMania.
Oh, I see. An impromptu number one contenders match, or much like New Japan at one point with the G1.
Yeah, and you set it up by she comes after whoever's winning the Rumble, points at the sign and everything. Her music hits, and they just go nose to nose, and that's how you end the PLE.
Fair point. Well, that being said, hot mess we trust. Make SmackDown great again. Well, maybe I should do a different tagline, considering the public office. Never mind. That being said, not political, independent, thank the Lord. Chelsea Green, turn this into entertainment, but also show us how serious you are and shove it up Michael P.S. Hayes' purple suit wearing ass. Okay.
Took a picture with him already, immediately with the title.
Of course. I mean, I'm sure it was humble pie. And we'll see if that man actually takes that humility and strides. I don't think he will, because some people never change. And what also doesn't change, apparently, is sometimes being fearless means being fearless on your own. Because when we return from this commercial break, the second half, we're going to bring you Raymond injured. And we're also going to talk about what the future might be for the Beast, Brock Lesnar, and if he's actually retired. Stay tuned as the Saturday Shenanigans continue here at the Simple Apple Studios and the Notification Galaxy YouTube channel. We will be back shortly.
And now for a taste of things to come.
I have no idea what just happened. We're live, pal. Technical difficulties are bound to happen, apparently. But with that in mind, here at the Civil House Studios, for what you did watch in that trailer, we'll try and play it again later. Here we truly encompass and embrace celebrate, pontificate, analyze, react to, and engage in all the wrestling. What can I say? I react on the fly. It's how I freaking do this thing all day and all night. Welcome back here once again to Saturday Shenanigans, folks. Again, Simon Noel Foster with the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams. You are here in the live audio effect. Also, we got Mr. Live Walter Cruz, Charles Schultz, Al the Mandicle, and our Canadian friend Ash as this continues. And we thank all of you for tuning in. If you're just tuning in right now, or you have continually done so, if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, and if you want to dictate the conversation, super chat, people have passions. It's as simple as that. All right, well, let's go ahead and continue with the conversation, shall we? Because you can look, but you can't touch. Well, apparently, you can look, but you can't see Brie Bella competing in the ring anytime soon. Because guess what? When one Bella's injured, the other one returns, and the other one gets injured right back again, too. As Caitlin Bella has already expressed her displeasure in this. Again, Caitlin, keep your spirit fearless. We learned that Brie Bella has suffered a broken scapula in 2 to 3 places at SummerSlam. And I'm pretty sure it happened literally during that bump in the steel ring steps, because she was never the same after that. Think about everyone that tuned in. For those that don't know, the healing time for this injury can range anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks to 3 to 6 months. And it even could be up to a year based on the complexity of the case. So, that being said, we have said ad nauseum, or the Bella Army has said ad nauseum. These two were due to hold the women's tag team titles. We said at WrestleMania, when Paige returned, was it just a plan B? Was that really what she was meant to be? Or was that night supposed to go to Nikki and Brie? We saw the run that Paige and Brie, of course, have with the titles. And, of course, at SummerSlam, when it came to 6-woman tag team action and an injury, fatal influence, proved how much of an influence they are, and even said to the Bellas, we don't need you. Well, right now, you might not need to worry about seeing them on your screen together unless Brie just plays a role, because Brie cannot wrestle. So that being said, how is this the real any Bella plans? Do we still approach Nikki Bella and Paige, which has to be at the forefront? Were the Bellas due to maybe go after the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships again, despite the fact they're on a heel team? What are the rules? What are the rules? With fatal influence. Was there something else in mind? Let's go around the horn and see what you all think might be for the Bellas, if ever to happen, or should we just stop thinking that what we think is going to happen at this point if both of them can't avoid being freaking injured at the same time? I think it's only things, so we're talking about fearless, capable ladies. We talked to the fearless, capable queen of the SRS. Shout out to the Tilla, by the way. Ash, what the hell? I feel like the Bellas are more cursed than what Danhausen do to people and what Chelsea Green's karma has been to her whole life. These two can't do anything together when it comes to being in the ring and working together with one another for a goal, because one's always injured. Like, seriously. So that being said, how complex does this make the Bellas' plans?
It is quite the crazy coincidence. They can't, they both are unable to stay healthy at the same time.
Bloody hell.
I wish them a speedy recovery. It's Brie that's injured, right?
Yes, it's right scapula, by the way, which again, in case y'all don't know what that is, that's your shoulder blade.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, she's going to be out for a while. I wish them a speedy recovery, and it is just going to prolong the eventual Brie and Nikki tag team championship reign, because I'm pretty certain that's the whole reason why they made their return, is so that they can finally be tag champs together. It's going to happen. We just don't know when.
You really think it's going to happen?
Eventually. It has to at some point. It's going to. I just don't know how long the reign is and when. That's the thing. The when and the where.
Well, never say never. Does at least have the 1% chance, despite the fact they right now we're supposed to be heels and the traps are on heels. So, give you that. And even JJ doing his best, Toriano.
And another thing is, with the Bellas, with Brie out injured, that's one less tag team in the division. So they really got to start building up tag teams so that they have people for fatal influence to challenge before them. even if it means having to create these makeshift tag teams.
Well, let's see. You got the baddies. Nope. You got Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton, who challenged impromptu. You got the Irresistible Forces. You got maybe Alexa Bliss and Tatum Paxley. And you got... Well, actually, that's it. Maybe. Again, speculation aside. So that being said, you only see it being a tag idea. You don't see Nikki Bella pursuing anything singles-wise.
I don't know who they have for her to feud with, other than like have Nikki in the IC title picture. But other than that, I don't see what else they have doing with her once she's done feuding with Paige.
Damn. Wait a minute, Nick. You're an idiot. There aren't women's tag titles in Ring of Honor. What the heck are you smoking? Then again, you're Canadian.
That's kind of his point.
That's the joke.
It's a poor joke because, believe it or not, Ring of Honor actually does have women's tag team wrestling pretty strongly. All right, well, thank you for that, Ash. If I could just say one thing, surprises me that Nikki Bella doesn't try and swerve us or turn the page and go after Chelsea Green, considering Chelsea Green calls herself the diva of this era. We literally got back the diva of the divas era. It writes itself. Maybe that could be a different plan. Just figured about it. Because again, Nikki Bella, she's rolling solo. All right. Well, thank you for that, Ash. Let's go to Charles next and guess his thoughts. Charles, Bella plots. Do you have any in mind? And how does this affect anything that you thought could have been in mind?
I said everything I was going to say. And it's just like ridiculous. The Bellas can't catch a break. And again, everyone's getting injured left and right, seems like. No matter what.
Look at the vision.
What vision?
Exactly. That's the biggest one example. That's not that. I know there's more to say.
All right. Fair enough. JJ, Nikki Bella, are we just going to do a short-term Nikki Bella and Paige program? Can you see Nikki Bella confronting Chelsea Green or finding her way towards the WWE Women's Championship? Does Bree somehow still find a way to be part of the conversation, even though, again, shoulder injury, again, that's not a joke. And by the way, kudos to her for actually finishing the match because, again, we saw that shoulder bump in the steel ring steps. She pretty much was effed up after that. And she still was heavily involved for the duration of it. I don't think you need to necessarily take a pen and paper to this, but I do think you can give a simple outlook on it, JJ. How does this affect the Bella's plans going forward? And does Nikki Bella continue forward now on her own? And is Paige just, as much as I don't want to say it, it sounds like it is this, a stepping stone? The floor is yours, JJ. You are muted.
So here's my thing. Bree got injured during the match.
Correct.
Bree knew she was hurt during the match. She just probably didn't know to what extent.
Correct.
Everybody else in the match knew that Bree was injured.
Correct.
Including the referee.
Correct. And none of this.
So why the fuck did we go ahead with the heel turn in the first goddamn place? This is the part of all this that I have an issue with. If Bree knew she was hurt, Nikki knew she was hurt, Paige knew she was hurt, Fatal Influence knew she was hurt. If I remember correctly, Jessica Carr was the referee.
She was.
Why didn't anybody make that left turn at Albuquerque and be like, look, let's not do the turn tonight? Because we could have done Nikki and Paige on a run to try to get the belts back until Bree returned. And then once Bree returned and they were unsuccessful to get the belts back, that's when you do the turn. It makes zero sense to do this turn without Bree there to help execute and continue it on.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the inevitable goal is the Bellas versus Paige and AJ. If AJ comes back at this point, Paige and AJ now look like the heels because they outnumber Nikki. Other than that, it sucks for Brie. You know, I hate seeing people get injured. Even if it's someone I'm not fond of, I don't celebrate injury.
Me neither.
You know, that's just beneath petty. You know, I don't even think I popped when Sasha Banks Mercedes got injured in that match against Willow.
You didn't, because I remembered you and I were talking about that, and I'm very proud of you.
You know, it's like it would have been easy for me to, but I didn't. But it just sucks. You finally got them back together on the same page, like was said, and now the other one's hurt.
Yeah, and you can tell by this shot. Damn.
And I mean, I think it was Bubba, Bully Ray, who pointed this out on Busted Open. Sirius XM, channel 156. Check it out, everybody.
Keep loving.
But neither of the Bellas have that much meat on their bones. So for that move to be executed, there's very little to no padding to cushion it from Jump Street.
Especially against steel ring steps.
Exactly. It's not like it's a Nia Jax who's got a little bit of cushion and padding to take a move like that.
Accurate.
And Nia has lost weight. I'm not trying to fat shame. I'm a fat fuck myself. You know, Nia has lost weight. Good on her. Proud of you. But she's still got more meat on her bones than most of the rest of the division.
Accurate.
She takes that move, probably not going to get her shit broken the way Brie did. Just being 100.
No, legit. I hear you.
You know, so it's like maybe you shouldn't have tried to do that shit in the first goddamn place. This isn't independent wrestling where you need some holy shit spot to entice the fans to come back in a month. This is a major wrestling company. Granted, second biggest pay-per-view of the year. You ain't got to do all that. There's a difference between spots that bring out intensity and stupidity. I think we all know which category this falls into.
Survey says ding.
I hope Brie has a speedy recovery and it can be more in the 6 to 12 weeks as opposed to the 3 to 6 months or a year. We'll have to see.
All right, thank you very much. Before I give it to the one that I know is going to bring the most heart into this, considering this affects his friend, Walter, it's now on you. Again, for the Bellas, they can't catch a break. So, what do we do now? How long does this derail things? And like I said, do you think there is even a 1% chance of them becoming the women's tag team champions? And does this also hold AJ Lee's return, much to what JJ was talking about? Was AJ Lee and Paige the first game, an end game? Was it a game that could have been plotted? Go ahead, Walter.
Yeah, I think AJ was in the plans to save Paige, but there's always a chance that they're like Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance if he's hurt, if she's hurt, I should say, there's still, and when she comes back, there's still going to be a 1.1% chance that they still put it on. But right now, just keep the rivalry 1-on-1 feud. Whoever wins comes on the other side and goes after maybe the U.S. title or something, and makes the younger people look better. I don't know what the original plan was with Paige. I assume it was to go with AJ, but Paige was a huge singles star before. Yeah, she won tag titles and stuff before in the past, but you can have her go on to the single division as well. You got Money in the Bank around the corner, so you have some saving graces after you end the rivalry. Whoever comes out on the other side can declare or enter a match that qualifies, which is probably what they're going to do, and go move on and go to the Money in the Bank. But it sucks for Brie, but don't put it on ice because one person's hurt. You still got to go through, because then if you save it all for when she's coming back, and then something else happens to somebody else, now you're back to square one. Just go on, move on to whatever you were gonna do. It sucks, but everyone knows the risk and injuries are part of the game. You just have to play the cards that you're dealt with, not the what ifs. You have to play the game with whatever hand you're given and reshuffle the deck after. So hats off, and hopefully she can recover shortly. But yeah, I'm with JJ. If you knew that hurt was there, somebody should have been in Jessica Carr's ear and say, tell them not to do it. Don't turn yet. And you could have did that, and her and Paige been a team for a while. But who am I? I'm not a booker. Whatever happens, happens. I just hope she's okay in the end. It's about people's health and lives in there, not stories and what they put their body on the line to entertain us all the time. People criticize, especially those people that would never enter a goddamn ring. Themselves love to criticize what other people do, a la Jade, and people saying the botches with her and Charlotte. Let me go see you go do this shit. I'm really tired of people talking about how people fuck up in the ring, but you wouldn't dare get your ass from behind a computer screen and go do what they do.
All right, Rage is about to engage. I'm going to cool him down before he goes nuclear, but also 100% accurate.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
If he wants to do his own TED Talk,
Walter doesn't get frustrated like this all the time. Let him
yeah,
cook.
but it's probably versus my blood pressure. He probably doesn't need to do that, honestly.
No. But yeah, it's just tiring. Obviously, go take bumps. I've done it. I've trained. It hurts like hell, and injuries happen at any time. I've had different injuries, and I know what it feels like. So I'm just hoping she's recovers. But leave the rivalry 1-on-1. Do what you're gonna do, and move out of it. Money in the Bank's around the corner. Make the female Money in the Bank seem really important. I feel like it's been kind of the last few years until
I mean, considering the last winter, she got the title, she got her moment for a month, and then she got pregnant. One forgot. Yeah, that was Naomi, folks.
Yeah, it was. That was the last time it was on fire, but then that happened. So that was a good moment, but.
Yeah, and again, there's no bigger moment, I think, in a woman. This is just me speaking for a humanitarian standpoint. I don't think there's a bigger goal for any woman in this life, if they truly set their mind to it, than starting a family and having a baby. So, to those that choose to do that, more power to them. And that should not discredit anybody that's a fan of them, especially if they're a worker in this business. Hello. But thank you, Walter. Again,
hopefully she's back soon, too, because the division is really missing Naomi, and it was really missing Bianca. So, go be with your family, do what you got to do. But when they come back, I feel like a fire will be lit under the women's division's ass again.
You can only go.
I don't know if you can keep the same character Naomi was, because there's no way you're going to boo her after she went away and had a baby and everything. But it was.
Well, we've already talked about the outlook of traditional wrestling. There aren't no heels. There are no freaking faces. They're just people that you respect and you just applaud because you like the presentation or you actually do in the ring. And again, Dattila, shout out to the other queen. Here go Flower, Pop Culture Powerbomb next today, following to his venture. Statboy approved. He did talk about that, of course, during our watch along. And everyone's on point here. Yeah, I think because W loves the retcon stuff. I truly believe that the Bellas were going to go through both programs. They were going to run back Paige and AJ Lee. They were going to give them a chance at the straps because who gives a damn? It's heel versus heel. We're going to go after the titles. We're the divas that you, Fredo Influence, are trying to be in this era. So they could run a program at that. They could have literally run this match, and Paige could have made fair and cost them. I do think the heel turn, though, with this injury, and by the way, if this was the booker who should have told the referee, you actually can't do anything, I blame the booker more than the talent, because at the end of the day, we know who dictates the match, and unfortunately, it's not the people in the ring, especially if you're behind the scenes. Oh, wait, that's right. We already know, because WWE Unreal showed us. Hello. So about exposing the business. But yeah, I feel like at this point, if Brie can't be by Nikki, you might ice the Paige thing and just have Nikki go after Chelsea Green and flip the idea of what we think's going on with the women's division. Because right now, Nikki, she's floating. Paige, she's floating. Brie, she's recovering. So it is what it is with that. And as somebody that's 132 pounds and purely nothing but bone and skin, yeah, you ain't getting me bumping anytime on anything like that, especially against something that's steel. So just saying. I wish Brie nothing but the best in her recovery. And much like Bryan Danielson, who of course was encouraged by Brie, if you fight for your dreams will fight for you. Obviously, Brie and Nikki have this dream to be the tag champs again. I truly do believe that. I mean, they're already, in case y'all forgot, they're already WWE Hall of Famers, and you would think at this point they'd be fully retired. Nope. So I do hope they do get that last milestone that they probably wanted to do and dreamed about before they even got in this business, when we didn't even think tag team titles would be a thing. And these titles haven't been relevant to me since the Icons, and they fucked that up. So I'm hoping that the Bellas do get their chance, but I do wish Brie all the best in her recovery. With that being said, we talked a lot about emotions, showed a lot of sympathy and humility. Now it's time to really bring it home on this with the man that's probably going to give us the deepest outlook on this. Let's once again lend the floor to Jeff, Fearless, Mother effing Meacham.
Yeah, this sucks. I've tried very hard to not be emotional when talking just to people at work about it. I'm so bummed for Brie. I'm so bummed for the twins that they once again have a setback in this reunion, this tag team comeback that they've been trying their damnedest to pull off, pretty much the entire calendar year. Nikki went down before Mania with the ankle injury, which led to WWE bringing Paige back, which was great. And now we've got a situation where the heel turn was planned, right? Like it was already a thing, and they had to go through with it. And it's just so frustrating as a fan, as a friend, to have to watch. I will say, I like the intrigue of the wait, the anticipation for the return, and I really think it lends the opportunity for when Brie does come back and the two of them, Brie and Nikki, lay Paige out like they did at SummerSlam, because they're obviously going through with continuing the story, because they had Nikki just tear Paige apart in that promo on SmackDown. Paige responded on social media. So it's definitely a thing. And I want to believe that they're going to make sure they keep the story in place until Brie can return. She broke her scapula in 3 places, which is just such a freak thing. It's a freak thing to have that injury happen, first of all. Like, it's such a rare, like, what the fuck? And then the recovery time is so indeterminable. Like, it could be a couple of months, it could be 6 months, it could be up to a year. If it goes past April, then it's like, oh shit, we lost, a potential WrestleMania moneymaker over in Saudi, because you have to believe that the appearance that AJ Lee and Paige both made on the Nikki and Brie show, that tag team rematch from WrestleMania 2015 writes itself, with a return of the Bellas being the heels and AJ and Paige being the fan favorites. And AJ's recent return as a mega fan favorite, she was over like freaking Rover when she came back. Paige has been the same. They both got amazing reactions when they returned. They've had amazing reactions in their appearances. I have to believe that was on the table for Survivor Series, if it was going to be a short thing, or they could move it to Royal Rumble. If I think for me, the money is obviously WrestleMania because it's a WrestleMania match. And the fact that 4 people from the Divas era getting a solid amount of time at a WrestleMania for a tag match, I think is a great statement by the company. Said that selfishly, for myself and for my friends, both on the podcast team and my friends, the Bella Twins, I'd love to see it at the Royal Rumble. I'd love it to be in Phoenix or Glendale, wherever the hell they actually have that stupid fucking stadium. But Arizona, where, you know, the Bella Twins really had a lot of their upbringing in the area. And, you know, they had Nikki at the Rumble presser this last week. And the girls talked about it on the Nikki and Bree show, you know, how important Phoenix and the Glendale, Arizona area still is to them. So I'd like to see it there. And if we end up going, so much the better. But yeah, it's a bummer. I'm legit upset for Bree and for the Bella Twins and for us fans, us friends of the girls. It sucks. And it's such a, God, if you go back and watch the injury when Bree takes the cannonball against the stairs, you know it's right there, and it's just so painful to watch now. So yeah, it I don't know if it derails the plans. It definitely has a unexpected maintenance stoppage on the train for sure, and it sucks. Those are never fun.
I didn't even think about the Royal Rumble, considering, yeah, that is in Phoenix. Forgot they announced it, even though it's supposed to be, I think, later than usual. I think they said it's February, but that is where the Bellas originally are from. That's a foundation. So to run that there versus Saudi Mania, which I guess would also be a milestone, because I'd be like, the first women's match of WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. Like, I think Phoenix will actually draw better attention, honestly, and also feel more comfortable for everybody's. But I like that Jeff did bring that up, actually, for the tag match of AJ Lee and Paige versus the Bellas. So maybe they can do that. Again, it all comes down to the extent of the injury, and we're all hoping the best for Bree and recovery. But again, we're not doctors, despite the fact I work for a nursing college. Again, I'm IT. I don't know freaking scapula from a spatula to a degree, let alone how to use both. So there you go. That being said, Walter, I saw you on mute. You got something to add real quick before we take a break? Okay, just making sure. Well, that being said, Bree mode delayed, but hopefully soon again, Bree mode will engage. And Aaron Whipple here his favorite theme. Again. That theme. I agree. I figured agree. I love the fact
the theme is okay. It's just the intro.
Look,
the theme
every single song that Def Rebel has ever produced is better than Bree Mode.
And that was the CFO song too, which made it worse.
That is one of the worst themes in the history. All right. And stay tuned when we might talk about top 10 themes we wish we could literally unplug our ears from later on.
I'll be there for that.
Yeah, I'm sure you gotta wish you couldn't name that tune in mind for that, Charles. Why, you know video games. Stay tuned, folks. We might play that again on Simple Session. That's the man behind the bat. Stay tuned. All right, that being said, Primo, to be loaded. When we return from this commercial break, and we'll see if the trailer doesn't crap, we are going to talk about the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, and really, retirement? This is legit. How does it affect WrestleMania? Does he still take the payday from Blood Money Country? Stay tuned for that and more when we return back here at the Saturday Shenanigans continue.
And now for a taste of things to come.
everybody. This is Joseph Sawyer, formerly known as Joe Gacy, and you're watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Love is like that thing. All right, that freaking gimmick. And again, thank you so much to Joseph Sawyer again for all the time that he gave us. You can check out that interview in the archives. But as always, since about studios, now that actually worked this time, dead gum technology. I had enough technology issues this week with my job. Here again, we truly encompass, celebrate, pontificate, analyze, engage, and react to all the wrestling. And welcome back in here once again to the Saturday Shenanigans. I have been your host for this evening's festivities, the Simon Noah Foster, along with Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz, the Mega Wrestling JJ Williams, and of course Charles Schultz. So good to have you back, bruv. And of course our Canadian friend Ash. And of course all of you in the chat that continue to make this possible. Thank you so much. And I'd like to remind you once again, if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, and if you want to dictate the conversation, super chat or pay by the patch. It's as simple as that. No, we do this every week here at the Simply Reliable Studios. If you want to further be part of the weekly moderated conversation of Wrestling Madness. Okay, that being said, why we will never retire this form as long as there's breath in our lungs and a passion or an outlook or a TED talk to come for the wrestling business. Do we actually believe that we heard officially the retirement of one Brock Lesnar? Because believe it or not, folks, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, not only said this past Sunday at SummerSlam from Minnesota, this is the future, this is the past. Passing the torch off to Obafemi as the Beast Incarnate has ran this business his own way for the better part of over 2 decades. According, though, to a clip shared on the Pat McAfee show, he literally announced that he is now retired. We now have seen that Brock Lesnar's name is on the alumni page. People have, of course, shared shots with the likes of Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, and John Cena, with the fist bump in the middle, looking at 3 guardians of the last generation of this business that no longer may be involved on our screens or in the wrestling ring. So, that being said, really? Do we legitimately think that Brock Lesnar is 100% retired? And if that is the case, should he be a headliner for the next WWE Hall of Fame class, even if it's in Saudi Arabia? And to add further to that, do you see Brock Lesnar actually being involved in any on-screen capacity, if not that, for Saudi Mania? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. And I think actually, before we get into things here, because I haven't had him actually start one off, we're going to start with Jeff's thoughts on this one, and then everyone else can say their piece. So once again, Jeff Meacham, take it away.
So, you know there's going to be discussion about this until we don't see Brock again, right? Like that's, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, I'll believe it when I don't see it in this case, because we all thought he retired at WrestleMania, and then there he was attacking Obafemi, and then there he's been since then, up until SummerSlam, back and forth with Oba, and Paul Heyman out there saying he retired, and he obviously was in the ring. Brock Lesnar's always had a different schedule, not always, but since he returned to WWE back in 2012, which it's crazy that this run, this second, the comeback in 14 years, his run as the next big thing was less than 2 years. It's crazy. But here he is 14 years after, coming out after the Miami WrestleMania and laying out John Cena. And then, 2 years later, going to SummerSlam and laying out John Cena. Anyway, sorry. Trauma. Look, I don't know if it's a real retirement, and retirements in wrestling are what they are. I have a feeling, based on his schedule since his return, based on his, he's the big fight feel. He is the big money player. He is Brock Lesnar. I think when he says he's done and he's going to go off and, do his hunting and, focus on his daughter's aspirations for the Olympics, I think it was for 2028, which is pretty friggin' freakish to think about, that another Lesnar is going to be an Olympic level athlete, my God, that's frightening to think about. I think I sent it in a group chat to you, JJ, and Greg, and Walter, and Aaron, and it may have been different chats. So forgive my old ass for a bad memory. I don't think there's anybody better suited to headline WrestleMania's Hall of Fame in Saudi Arabia, if they do the Hall of Fame in Saudi Arabia. And again, I'm still convinced that part of that New York weekend is going to be the Hall of Fame is going to be in New York, just to allow as much domestic revenue as there's going to possibly be available to be spent here. They didn't arrange that New York watch party, just for the attraction value. They're trying to make sure that the American customers, the North American customers, spend their money too, and not, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. Whether the actual Hall of Fame is in Saudi Arabia, the actual induction ceremony, I don't think there's anybody better suited to headline the Hall of Fame based around the Saudi WrestleMania than Brock Lesnar. He is the definition of what those guys are paying out for, to have the WWE come in and have this, this 10-year partnership or whatever it's been, than the guy who he's had under 90 matches in the 14 years he's been back. That is the Saudi Arabia arrangement. That is WWE in 2026, and that is Brock Lesnar. No doubt about it.
Okay, first off, when is Jeff going to finally remove himself from the drama, the post-trauma of his past when it came to Brock Lesnar and John Cena, who, might I add, still has the highest suplex count in a single match in 16 when Brock Lesnar obliterated him at that SummerSlam and seized the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And two, yeah, it makes sense to do something in New York when you're that close to Canada, considering Brock Lesnar owns most of it and he just farms and hunts. So, again, thank you, Jeff. All right, well, let's go around the horn and see what the rest of y'all think. JJ, I'll go to you next. I mean, if they do the Hall of Fame in Saudi Arabia, of course, that's the home of the tallest skyscraper in the world, that Dubai building. They could probably do it there or something. And again, considering how many retirements we've had the last 2 years, AJ Styles, John Cena, one of these three men has to be a headliner for the next class of the WWE Hall of Fame, in my opinion. But with that in mind, do you truly believe that Brock Lesnar, who might add is nearly 50 years old, actually is retiring?
I do. I don't know why I do, but I feel like in this new era of WWE with Paul Triple H Levesque as the creative helm, I think we're going to get away from the trope of when you retire, you come back. I think all these people we're seeing go out and officially retire, Goldberg, Cena, AJ, Brock, all as mentioned, I don't think we're going to see them come back for an in-ring match. The only thing I could potentially see in the future would be that shock rumble surprise pop, but not for lack of a better term, a real match, a one-on-one match. You know what I mean? The Rumble is one thing because you can trot them out there for that glory spot. Get the cheap pop, especially if you're in their hometown. Atlanta, Boston, Minneapolis, whatever. Get that little cheap pop there. You protect their legacy because they don't have to get pinned or submitted to lose. They can put somebody over by letting some up-and-comer eliminate them. And that's all that we need. Then you could get like a Javon Evans saying, I eliminated AJ Styles from the Royal Rumble. Just think about what that could mean for his career.
Phenomenal moment.
But I do believe Brock is retired. When it comes to the Hall of Fame part of it, I know Cena is like the brand ambassador right now.
Yes.
But I think that Cena would want to do it more stateside.
Huh.
Or maybe he would be okay with that. That's the thing, is like, I don't really know. It's like, after Saudi Mania, where are we going for Mania again? Do we go back to Vegas again?
Oh,
and I hear you scoffing. I see Charles coming on camera to shake his head, but let's keep in mind what is housed within Vegas that is part of the TKO umbrella.
I get it.
Whether people like or dislike the idea of Vegas becoming the home of WrestleMania, there's logistical reasons to do it.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like the Big Four should alternate across the globe. WrestleMania and SummerSlam between the East and the West Coast. Rumble and Survivor Series between the North and the South.
It's an interesting booking idea, though, honestly. But I mean, again, they keep trying.
If we do Rumble in Dallas, we do Survivor Series up north. Whether it's Canada A, or whether it's like a Michigan or a Minnesota or something across the northern border.
Right.
SummerSlam, you think beaches?
Yes.
East and West Coast are the best way to do that.
Yes.
And then WrestleMania, you flip flop. Whichever side gets SummerSlam, the other side gets Mania.
At least this flip flop makes more sense than the Price is Right pricing game.
And then the rest of the PLEs can be international or scattered around the rest of the country.
Well, they've basically been international house shows. Just to call it what it is.
Well, no, I think that's how they started, but I think the international PLEs have gotten to a bigger level than just a house show level.
Yeah, some of them.
Because we said that about the Saudi shows too, but I'd say ever since Triple H took over, the Saudi shows have felt bigger than just a throwaway house show.
I kind of see your point, though.
To the point where they got Rumble this year and they're getting Mania next year.
Very curious to see what that stuff looks like. All right, and how much they blow up their city again. Freaking pyrotechnics over the damn city skyline was longer than I think one of the matches at freaking Royal Rumble.
I wouldn't be mad with Brock going in this year. But who do you have inducted?
Paul Heyman.
That would be the obvious. But do you want to go with the obvious, or do you want to make a statement? Because if Cena isn't going in, Cena could definitely do it.
I mean, he did literally call him a once in the genre talent, so I mean...
Undertaker could do it.
Yeah, he gave him the torch in Hell in a Cell we talked about.
Now that Undertaker has his own podcast and become more of a public figure, I could see him inducting a Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
So
there's options.
it would be interesting.
All right. So he
That'd
says
be
that.
interesting if they made the O2 class induct them. So you'll see all of the big people from O2 because Orton's the only legend left that hasn't retired. But it'd be cool to see Orton, Cena, and Batista induct Brock, and it'd be like, look, the whole O2 class.
And I love that you brought that up because I loved that shot by Cody last night. They used to call you the legend killer. I look around, you're the only legend left. So who gets to kill you?
That was a nice trope, but also humble pie to Cody Rhodes. You wanted this Orton, you dumb son of a bitch. You got it. Again, retrospectives. Thank you for that, Walter and JJ. I want to, before I give it to Charles, to the point that Jeff said, I want y'all to look at this. I like that Cage Match actually does this for their matches. You're literally looking at the amount of matches that Brock Lesnar had the entire second half of his WWE career, by month and by year. Yep, that is all he literally did. Per Jeff's number, he's 100% right. And it's crazy to think about that and what impact those matches had, not only for the profit of the WWE, but for what people remember that Brock actually did. By the way, if young Lesnar can just stay in the Olympics and not try and beat the living shit out of the WWE Women's Division for the future, I think that's a good idea. I don't think we need another Lesnar in the freaking WWE, just saying, especially a woman. Jesus. Thank you for that again, though, JJ and Jeff. All right. Well, that being said, Walter, talking about O2, of course, Brock Lesnar was part of that clash on the Benjamin and John Cena, as you all talked about, of course, in that era. What is your outlook? Do you believe that Brock Lesnar is officially retired? And should he be the headliner, regardless if this retirement is BS or not? Should he be the headliner of the next WWE Hall of Fame, whether or not it's in New York or in Saudi Arabia?
Yes, I believe he's retired because he said it out of his own damn mouth. He went on the Pat McAfee show and said it. That's it. I'm officially retired. They didn't do that at Mania. He never officially said it. It was just rumors, and he dropped his boots and all that. So, and I think they took it a little further than they normally do. So, yes, I feel like he's officially retired. And yep, I think he'll be the headliner of the Saudi Mania and Hall of Famer. The obvious one is Paul Heyman to induct him. I would love that, but I would love to see like that O2 class all inducted. Now that I said that, I'm put that'd be a cool thing to do when Randy actually retires and he goes in the Hall of Fame. I think all of them should all like stand there so you could be like, this is the class of O2. But damn, now I feel old because my childhood literally Randy Orton is like the last of the Mohegans. Like this is it's crazy. Luckily, he was so young when he came out. That's the only reason he's still the one going. Because when he came out of that in '02, he was still so young. Like he's still one of the youngest. I think he is the youngest world heavyweight champion. So, and he was like what 23 at the time. So
23 or 24, I believe.
Yeah,
but I believe you
I think
are,
he beat Brock because
correct.
Brock was originally, and then Orton beat Brock's age. So
yep.
Yeah, I think he's done, and he's such a peaceful, quiet dude outside of the ring that all he wants to do is fit. I know I said peaceful, and then I'm talking about killing, but all he wants to do is fish and hunt, and stay on his Saskatchewan farm and hang out because he's not a people person any damn way. So, we barely saw him while he was active. Now that they're saying retire, we're gonna see him even less. So, I think he's done.
All right. I mean, fair enough. Well, that being said, Charles, I mean, the damn man, for what it's worth, has been involved in this business for 25 years, and freaking's got to be close to 50 right now. So, again, do you truly buy into Brock Lesnar retiring? And if they don't put him in the Hall of Fame next year, do you think that they should put him in the Hall of Fame at this point within the next couple of years? I mean, again, is Saudi Arabia events worthy enough for Brock Lesnar to once again fly on a private jet just for one last appearance?
Honestly, I don't know. This entire thing, I have no clue. Honestly. The only truly, Brock announced his retirement. Yeah, he did. But it really depends if he doesn't show up on the Build-A-Mania. Well, the true answer to that point. Because it's like the only way at this point to answer that. To be honest. As far as Hall of Fame goes, that man's gonna go in the Hall of Fame at some point. You don't ever you could imagine at that point. So I gotta say on that one.
Fair enough. All right. Well, considering we're talking about the most lethal Canadian ever in the WWE history, let's talk to probably the kindest and most batty Canadian we've come to know in Samoa Studios history. Hi, Ash. Ball's on your court to wrap this thing up. Brock Lesnar. Officially retired? I don't know how far Saskatchewan, by the way, is from you in Winnipeg, by the way.
6 hours.
Oh, well, there you go. And that's not even in metrics, folks. That y'all use the metric system up there. Y'all are so weird up there. But anyway, that being said, do you think Brock Lesnar should have headlined the W Hall of Fame, whether it's in New York, which again would be a lot closer to Canada, or Saudi Arabia? And again, if Brock is truly retired, maybe we can turn this to like maybe one of those things we think about. Are you really retired if you do at least show up like one more time after the Hall of Fame? Like, do we truly believe the last time we're going to see Brock Lesnar is the WWE Hall of Fame?
It's really hard to say because how often do wrestlers say they're retired and then they return for a match, right? It's like, right? We were also talking about like the Funks earlier, right? Like they're notorious for that too.
Death match at 80 plus years old, crazy mother effer.
Yeah, I hate to be this person, but I'll believe it when I see it because I've just seen so many wrestlers say they're retired and then come back multiple times for like different matches, or like they'll come back for like one more match and then say this is it. It's like Lesnar says he's retired, but who's to say he's not? Sorry, my cat. Sorry.
You good?
Who's to say if he like the WWE would be like, hey, we're gonna throw you X amount of money for this one last Saudi Arabia match, plus you're gonna go in the Hall of Fame. They might do that to entice him for like one more match before he calls it quits. Although I think it's like if he does go in the Hall of Fame this upcoming year, I think it's a little bit too early, but I can understand why they would put him in this year or like this upcoming year as opposed to waiting further down the line. So
yeah,
it's all up in the air. It's like to like what Charles says. It's the same thing. Like it all depends on how the Build to Mania goes, and if he doesn't show up at the Saudi Arabia WrestleMania, then I'll believe he's officially retired.
As JJ would say, that's fair. Walter, Charles, sorry, I saw your hand up. Charles, what you got to say real quick?
That's pulled up, who's people go in the Hall of Fame or whatever. They literally had AJ retire and then literally go right in the Hall of Fame very quickly.
Yeah,
That's true.
Still feel the same about that as well. Yeah.
No doubt possibility.
Right, that's true. Never say never, especially in the wacky world of pro wrestling.
That's accurate. And to that point, it was Undertaker who rode on down and told us. So what? Undertaker's going to ride on up to Saskatchewan and say that Brock Lesnar's in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Yes.
We're going to get that on Instagram or WWE social media pages.
Yes.
I don't think they ever would put Brock Lesnar's house on camera unless you literally want to be killed because you'll be hunted for manslaughter by him, probably, just saying. Address, unknown. So, about to say, you got a death wish trying to go up to Brock Lesnar territory, and he's buying more of Canada as we speak, probably. But, yeah, but I honestly think that the Hall of Fame here makes more sense because I do think you're going to have more of a better outlook, and plus you're going to save Brock Lesnar a lot on flying across the jet. I think Brock's probably done with flying on jets as far as I know, too. I think just do the Hall of Fame literally from the center of New York in one of those gala places and make it feel as big as it used to be in the early 2000s. So that's my outlook, but I will say on record right now that I think Brock Lesnar is retired. Because, honestly, when you literally put over the next big thing, you put over the guy that's taken your spot in this business. What more do you really need to do? I feel like a lot of times Brock Lesnar doesn't need to do a lot, but he wants to do what he does because, yeah, he likes money, but he also is an ass kicker. But how much more ass do you need to kick before you let someone's ass humble you inside Hell in a Cell and endorse them as WWE's future? Enough said. I'm going to think that Brock is retired right now officially, and I think the Hall of Fame will be the last time we see him, and honestly, I hope it is, because I think he's done more than enough for the WWE and the business. JJ, I see your hand. What you got to say real quick before we take our final commercial break?
I like Emmanuel's comment here. You know, if Lesnar goes in, does Sable go in as well?
Ooh, that's a fair shout. I almost wonder if Sable wanted to go in the WWE Hall of Fame,
Because
though, honestly.
there's been some really good opportunities for Sable to go in,
Yes.
and they haven't taken them.
Much like
So I almost wonder if they put her in with her husband.
Have we had a husband and wife inducted in the same W Hall of Fame class?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so. That would be a first.
Triple H
We-
and Stephanie, no. Booker and Charmel, no.
No.
We had them separately, Edge and Beth Phoenix, but it wasn't the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
was it the same year?
Yeah, I don't think we have. Huh. Oh, there you go. All right. Well, that being said, Brock Lesnar, thank you. See you at the Hall of Fame. Hopefully in New York. Maybe. All right. Well, that being said, as everyone else speculates across the internet about Brock Lesnar's official retirement, when we return from this final commercial break, we will bid you all a fine adieu, do some shills, and talk to you about upcoming attractions. Stay tuned.
And now for a taste of things to come.
Hello, everybody. This is Joseph Sawyer, formerly known as Joe Gacy, and you're watching Simply Reliable Studios.
That's the last time you're able to see that. And as always, here at the Cinema Studios, we truly, by that trailer, show you that we encompass, celebrate, engage, pontificate, analyze, criticize, and we got all the wrestling. And welcome back in here once again to the Saturday Shenanigans as we get ready to bid y'all a fine adieu here shortly again. I've been the host for the evening, Seminole Foster, along with Mr. Walter Cruz, Frank C. J.J. Williams, Charles Schultz, who's popped out on the mandible tonight, all of our Canadian friend Ash. And again, I wanted to remind you all, thank you for continuing to make this possible and for tuning in. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend if you want to dictate the conversation. Super chat, pay by the patch is as simple as that. But I believe we do have one more little thing before we actually get into the shows, and I also do believe that you fucking annoying piece of sorry-ass garbage.
Oh, be cursed.
Do you believe?
Minus 10 minutes next week. That being said, fucking idiot. All right, JJ, I believe that there's something that you wanted to play and something that you wanted to do, so go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yes. So As some of you may know, I was at an independent wrestling show this evening before joining. That's why I came in a little bit late. Just wanted to talk a little bit about that. It was a very interesting show. Definitely some pros and cons. I'm not going to get too much into the cons because I want to think positively. One of the cons was the heat out here in the desert, and it was outside at sunset, so you know. But it was a all cage match show put on by Valor Pro Wrestling called Locked In. Gee, an all steel cage match show. Where have we seen that before?
I remember something like that brought me total nonstop action in a bygone life, and I think they're bringing it back or trying to resuscitate it. I've heard something like that.
4-match cards, so actually less than a WWE PLE.
Wow.
I believe 5 matches were advertised. One may have been pulled due to injury or whatever, unaware, unknown.
There.
Got to see a longtime friend of mine, somebody I hadn't seen for almost 15 years.
Whoa.
Was on the card as a wrestler, one Mikey O'Shea. Got to see and reconnect with him. Talked to a couple of the talent there, gave business cards, so maybe scheduling some interviews with some of them in the not so distant future.
Nice.
Be on the lookout for all of that. But all in all, it was a fun time. I will probably go to another one of their shows. The $1 million question just becomes when. The promoter said that they might run next month, and they might not run again until March. They're trying to find a new home venue, not because they can't run where they currently are, but they want to find somewhere big, enclosed, where they can keep the ring set up and possibly open up a school and train and everything.
That's a smart move.
Right now, they're basically running it veterans of foreign wars, you know, or like a Legion Hall type thing. So rental fees, all that stuff, they can't really keep the ring set up.
Ugh.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens and when the next show is. I wanted to play for y'all is, I know y'all have probably gotten sick and tired of me talking about WWE radio and everything since I finally got to where I can listen to and experience this stuff. But your boy was on the radio this morning.
What?
With one Miss Denise Salcedo.
What?
56.
Forgot to trim out the little music when they came on the air. Didn't have time to do all that while sitting here, so we'll talk over it. Hopefully we won't get copyright.
Non-copyright, dang it, non-copyright. Welcome in, everybody, to the Saturday Shenanigans.
Yes, check 1 2, check 1 2.
Listen.
This works perfectly.
What the hell? Non-copyright. Damn it, non-copyright.
Adverts.
All the adverts, damn it, all the adverts.
Busted open. You've been hanging out today with me.
Today's episode brought to you by Dorito.
For a few minutes as
That I have right now next to me.
will be back, but in the meantime,
Looking for something hot? Try Tennessee whiskey. Honey, I'm a
callers have to say. So if you're on the line, I am about to get to you right now. If you guys want to call in, this is the perfect opportunity. You can dial 877-344-4893. Pretty much everything is on the table right now, so let's see what's on your mind. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with our fellow Cali person. Over here, we got JJ from California. JJ, you're on the line. What inspired your call today?
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit, Denise, about the debut of Tatum Paxley last night. I think when I initially saw she was getting ready to move away from NXT, I think in my mind I had said that she was going to go to Raw, because at that point, Becky was still out, Stephanie was still out. The Raw women's roster was kind of lacking some depth. She had the history there with Lyra Valkyria as having been one of her only real friends in NXT that I thought they could have played up with. And especially with Lola looking like she's going to come up and go to SmackDown because Triple H seems to be fond of keeping couples together. Of course, Lola and Priest are together as a real-life couple. I'm just wondering if you guys think maybe it was a mistake putting her on SmackDown since Raw really needs some more women.
So I think you're right about Raw needing more women. I mean, with just the added addition of having Becky Lynch and Stephanie McCare coming in this Monday Night Raw absolutely elevated the entire game on Monday Night Raw. But for example, right now you have Roxanne Perez, you got Raquel, you got a couple of others. But even for example, for Raquel, she's a women's intercontinental champion, and I don't even really feel like she's got that many people to defend her title against. However, now I don't know how many more women are going to instantly be called up from NXT. There are a lot that if you wanted to, you could take the chance already and call them up, because I'm kind of torn, JJ. I love right now how full the SmackDown division is. I do think it's unfortunate that some people, we don't get to see that often. Like, we're still waiting for Blake Monroe to have a match. Where is Jordan Grace? Are they still doing anything with Kiana James? Like, there's still a couple of people in there that were like question marks all over, right? But I do love the fullness. I love the option, and I love, it feels like a buffet. I love knowing that, hey, I can eat pizza right now and then come back later for a burger. That's the kind of, I love having those options. And even if we don't see every woman every single week on the SmackDown division, I want to make sure that they find a nice balance of seeing, certain people some weeks and certain people the other weeks, but not making it feel like they're gone for so long, right? So finding that balance of how much time they're away. Now, in regards to Monday Night Raw, I wouldn't mind it if they just called up a few more girls on that division, and suddenly, we only need like a handful, honestly. And NXT has plenty of them. Now, I know that would suck for the NXT side of things because it would kind of feel like people are being stripped away, but I genuinely feel like there's a lot happening over there where it would be okay if we had a few more women's call-ups over on the Raw side of things. Now, I don't know if they're going to go that direction or if maybe they're going to switch things up over on the SmackDown side. For example, we haven't seen Jordan Grace in a while. What if all of a sudden Jordan Grace pops up on Monday Night Raw? Okay, cool. That would be great. Julia hasn't been having the best time on SmackDown, and I think she's doing main event stuff as of late. I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong. But let's say if all of a sudden she pops up on Monday Night Raw. I don't know. Another idea was Shinsuke Nakamura, and this one has nothing to do really with Raw and SmackDown, but it popped up in my head. Was Shinsuke Nakamura said that he's going to be having this whole new group. People were throwing the idea of like adding Julia to his group. That could be something for her, since we're out here talking about how it hasn't really been going too great. But anyways, I think it's just a matter of you either bring up more women from NXT, or maybe you take a couple from SmackDown that aren't really getting to be showcased that much on a 2-hour show and move them over to Monday Night Raw. But at the end of the day, though, I have to say that I love the depth that SmackDown has right now on that women's division. I don't think it was a mistake to have Tatum go to SmackDown. I think you're right. A lot of people were expecting her to team up with Lyra, but at the same time, come on, now we got Alexa, Charlotte, and Tatum. I have been wanting a girl group like this for a while now, and so for that reason, I'm locked in on that. Thank you so much, JJ. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
Well, look at that. Mr. JJ got his 5 minutes of communication with the lovely Denise Salcedo, one of the hardest working individuals in this interview game for the wrestling business, with nothing but a positive outlook. That's pretty awesome.
Interesting little side note. Almost as soon as, because I recorded that off of a replay. Because the way they usually do things is they'll do a show in the morning and then they'll replay it later in the day. So as I was waiting for Doors for the indie show that I went to open, they're replaying that in the car. And I'm like, oh, cool, my segment's about to come on. Let me record this real quick for the guys and gals, and then I can play it tonight. And so I recorded all that, and almost as soon as I went off the air on the replay, my phone rings. It was our very own Stat Boy cursing me out because I got on the radio before him.
Damn.
So your boy here got on WWE radio.
That's awesome. Congratulations, JJ. And again, folks, follow Denise Salcedo today on the social media. Follow her on YouTube.
But
Follow
only
her on her live
after you
wrestling shows.
subscribe to Rage of Wrestling.
And
That's
subscribe
more
to Rage of
important.
Wrestling.
Subscribe to Rage of Wrestling and Batty for Wrestling. Then you can go follow Denise. No,
all the people.
nothing but
Follow
love
people.
for Denise, but subscribe to them first.
Yeah, just follow the small people and then follow her. Simple as that. So you got your checklist. You got your Batty, you got your Rage, you got your Denise. So those are the three. Simple as that on YouTube. But the key thing on the X, the bird's dead. Follow us at Studio 2024. If you all don't know what that is, that's because JJ still hasn't updated the logo because Elon Musk said the bird is dead. But anyway, there you go. All right, well, that being said, JJ, congratulations. That's really cool. And Denise Salcedo, thank you for giving the Renegade 5 minutes of your time regarding Tim Paxley. And I'll just add on with this. When that tag match happened in a bygone era, and Alexa Bliss and Tim Paxley first engaged with each other, something told me that was not going to be the only time those two are going to meet one another. And now they're together as a team. Seems like two little young, spooky girls that might as well be the sisters from the Sheanigans. Forever and ever and ever. Seems like it was just made to be.
Yeah, but what was more made to be was Alexa and Nikki Cross. And we didn't pull that trigger for whatever reason.
I know.
And you know, if you go into the archives on the Simply Reliable Studios brands of channels, Joe Gacy talks a little bit about that. But it almost feels like we fucked up, so here's this instead.
Well, I mean, it's not the first time they did that. I'm just saying, you know. I mean, we could look up. We could talk about countless examples. Oh, it's been like when it came to Scarlet and Killer Cross. Anyway, but you know, they try and make anything their own, and some stuff sticks and some stuff doesn't. It's like buying from Temu versus Amazon. It's the same exact product, but it's a different price. You know how I know that? Because Evan and Caitlin on YouTube have proved it ad nauseum. Anyway.
And that's why I buy from Temu over Amazon.
Well, I mean, again, save a dollar when you can. But that being said, I'm going to save people's time here when it comes to the fact that we have reached the conclusive nature of the Shenanigans. I want to remind them, thank you for tuning in. And again, if you haven't already, go to YouTube, hit the button, subscribe, 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 subscribe!
Interesting. I didn't know about this. So apparently when we do the Rebel Heart AEW watch along, if we raise $100, over $100, Nick's wife will do the ice bucket challenge live on the air.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He talked about doing something like that during our watch-along of Grand Slam Mexico this past Wednesday. Good show, Tom. That was so much fun. But yes, of course, I also want to encourage you all not only to subscribe to Rage of Wrestling, subscribe to Back for Wrestling, but please follow Rebel Heart, being a champion, fighting this cause, where even she may not be aware, if she can't survive, others can. ALS is a terminal disease, and Rebel has been nothing but a champion. Countless people have been encouraged by Rebel and her little tidbits. Of course, you can look at Kevin Owens' interview post-show at SummerSlam as an example. And multiple wrestlers, multiple commentators, multiple friends and correspondents that know Rebel and have been challenged by others have already taken on the Ice Bucket Challenge, including not limited to Tony Giovanni, Chris Statlander, Dustin Rhodes, and even AEW CEO Tony Khan, amongst others. As Nick just put that out there. And yes, I already have my bracelet, and I will be wearing it during the watch-along. Stay tuned for more on that. Again, support ALS.org today. Support the cause, support the research. And again, to Rebel Heart, we are with you. We are proud of you. Nothing but love and strength to you. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and chill our way out of here before we bid everybody a fine adieu. First and foremost, before I give the panel their closing remarks, let's go ahead and one more time give the floor to Jeff Mudderman Meacham, who has chills of his own too.
Well, thank you again. It's always great to come home and be a part of the Simple Reliable Studios process, even if it is via satellite, via pre-tape. But got what you got to do. The mouse waits for no man. Doing a little bit of brainstorming here lately. I had some inspiration last night, waiting for my friend at Denny's to clock out for the night. And as I was sitting there in my booth, I had a little bit of inspiration. So be on the lookout. Coming soon, more content from the Jeff Meacham Network. We'll have a whole lot of announcements coming up, probably closer to the end of the year, maybe as we transition officially on the calendar from summer to autumn, but we'll see. And of course, you can catch me whenever I happen to pop in here on the Shenanigans or any other Simple Reliable presentation. Catch me on NoDQ.com if I happen to be there, because Tuesdays are work days now, it feels like. And when the Greg Trey brand has a project, I will be there. But I just want to thank you guys again for allowing me to be a part of it. It's like I said, it's good to come home. Greg had his last full, regular weekly Greg Cherry show this last week, and I've had my studio set up accordingly. The only 4-time Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion, the only Greg Cherry brand Triple Crown winner, being a WTC champion, being the winner of Luck of the Draw, and a Jack of all trades champion. So I really hold the Greg Cherry brand near to my heart. I said as much on Wednesday, and I just again want to wish Greg well wishes on whatever the Greg Cherry brand produces, and same with my buddies over at NoDQ.com and right here on the Simple Reliable Studios. For the record, hopefully I will be here live next week. My shift at Disney ends at 3:45 p.m. Pacific on Saturday the 15th. So hopefully I will be here live and in living color, baby. But we'll see how things play out, as the mouse do. I'm supposed to be D23 next Saturday, so that'll be a 8-hour gig, and I'll be dragging my ass back here at the studio. But I will be here, God willing. God, Lord, the creek don't rise, as JBL would say. I will be here next Saturday. So thank you guys again, and stay tuned for more from me.
Thank you very much, Jeff Leonard from Meacham. Before I give it to the panel to continue their plugs, I want to give a shout out to Jordan Owens, a good friend of my friend Paul Mead, who also runs his own wrestling trivia forum called Wrestling with Trivia. Unfortunately, he passed away the other day, so my condolences to all affected parties, and for those that want to encourage wrestling trivia fun contests with their friends or for the love of wrestling trivia competitions. Thank you so much. Again, Jordan Owens, rest in peace. All right, that being said, thank you, Jeff. Let's continue around the horn. Ash, I'll talk more about what you and I have coming up this week, but I'm also going to put you on the spot. 1 week from today, your time is officially run out. G1 Climax Finals. Good luck, young bat. That being said, go ahead and tell the people can find you.
You can find me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at ShadowBatAsh, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Batty for Wrestling. Don't be a dickhead.
All right, and again, folks, stay tuned for the return of the Simon and the Bat. We will be doing another super session this week, and despite the fact she may not have kept up because your girl don't have time to watch the tournament matches, I have, and I do have the updated scores, and I will by the time we do the simple session, and we will talk about briefly, give our outlooks in the semifinals, and yes, one way or another, if I have to literally prematurely halt the Shenanigans and have to host it next week, or I intercept it, change the channel, and turn it into a G1 Climax watch-along, we will be covering the G1 Climax Finals, one way or another live, whether it's me by myself or this bat can actually ride along. Stay tuned for more on that. Time to be determined. And also stay tuned again, simple session this week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday, live exclusively at the Cements brand and Barry for Wrestling YouTube channel. And yes, Ash has that game planned for me too. And we also have a lot more planned. So stay tuned. Thank you. All right. That being said,
I'm gonna give a shout out to my friend Advocate, who recommended me some matches for the G1 to watch over the for tomorrow and the upcoming week.
I'm guessing some of them involved the likes of Oscar, Zack Sabre Jr., his favorite Yoda Studio. Oh, no, wait, that's Stampede. And others. But all right, thank you, Ash. Appreciate you. Charles, always good to see you, actually on camera or just literally as Avatar, man. Welcome back to Shenanigans, my friend. It's been far too long. Go ahead and tell the people can find you. Gotta get a TMNT plug for you at some point.
Thank you. You can follow me on X on Tutal Grandel and believe in Chase You, damn it.
No, that's the one thing I will never believe in or agree with you in, but I
Or
still
be
appreciate
cursed.
you. I don't believe in curses either. I believe in faith and fate, and things happen for a reason, and not due to just science. All right, thank you, Charles. Walter, subscribe to Rage of Wrestling. Appreciate you as always, Amano. Again, I hope whatever chaos you are dealing with, this has calmed your spirit and raised your mood. Tell where the people can, of course, subscribe and find you.
Find me at YouTube, Rage of Wrestling.
Subscribe.
Instagram, Walter.Cruz.940, and the X at Walter Alex Cruz.
And again, subscribe. All right, thank you very much, Walter. And now on to our Chief Brand Ambassador, / Chief Spokes Officer, / CEO at Casting Studios, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, to bring this thing almost into the station before I pull us finally home. JJ, always a pleasure. Always happy to do this for you. No matter what mood I'm in, I'm always happy to support you, my friend. Wishing you nothing but to continue best your newest ventures. Let's start chilling. Start by telling where the people can find you, and then tell them what you've been up to.
Well, you can subscribe to me and follow all of my other Chase You brethren and sisters.
Bloody hell.
Follow me on Instagram at the Renegade JJ Williams. Subscribe to my YouTube, Casa D18 Studios. Follow me on the X at Casa D18 Studio. No S at the end. Make sure you're following the Simply Reliable Studios at SR Studios 2024 on the X.
Do it. Do it now. Do it.
Go back in the archives. Check out the interview we did with Joseph Sawyer, formerly known as Joe Gacy, this past week. Almost 2 hours of his time.
Wow.
Really fun interview. Really seemed to enjoy us. Glad everything was able to be made. You know, after a couple of reschedules, we unpacked a lot when it comes to Gacy. We talked about his independence, both before and now that he's a free agent again. We talked about his run in NXT and the schism and what went right, what went wrong with it, whose idea it was to bring Ava into the schism. We talked about the call-up to the main roster, the epic debut, being part of the legacy faction, the Wyatt Six. Just so much stuff. You know, we got into some of the non-traditional stuff that we get into, which was Nick's thing. We were joined by Jeff motherfucking Meacham for the interview.
Nice.
So it was myself, Walter, Nick, Jeff, and Joe Gacy.
No pineapple on pizza.
You know, just a really fun interview with him. So go in the archives, check that out. Today, we sponsored Kaya McKenna's first title defense against Sigrid at Pro Wrestling Symphony.
Oh boy.
Waiting to see that, you know, some of that stuff get posted. I doubt they would have her lose the title in her first defense.
No way. There's no way.
Oh, hey, how many times did Sasha Banks lose the title in her first defense? I'm just saying that there's definitely a way.
Fair, I'll give you that.
Also, to add to that point, how often did Johnny Gargano down in NXT defend his titles very well as well?
Ah, jeez.
He's got you there too.
Poor Johnny Wrestling. Continue, JJ.
He went from that to laying on trunks.
I was going to say, no wonder he's been planking on crates for the past 6 months.
Been 6 months?
Yes, it has. He's done nothing but that.
But then again, if I was married to Candice LeRae, I'd probably be doing that too.
Mm-hmm.
But
You still cannot get past your fact. You
What
still
the-
cannot.
Nope. I will look. I don't wish injury on anybody. I don't wish death on anybody. Other than that, fair game when it comes to her.
The freedom of speech. Continue.
Jeez. Other than that, right now it looks like it's going to be a pretty quiet August for us as far as interviews go. There's nobody booked for the rest of the month right now.
Well, there you go.
We'll see if that changes. Like I said, I talked to a couple people tonight. I've still been trying to work a couple of different people. Still waiting for La Princesa to get back to me about setting up a date. Still waiting for Jessica Havoc to get back to me about setting up a date. Those two will happen at some point. It's just a matter of them becoming available enough to respond to their messages. I know Jessica has been going through some shit. She's barely been doing her Twitch streams. Caught her live the other day and let her know that I had sent her another message. She apologized profusely for not getting back. Said she would get back the next day and still hasn't yet. So but she said that she was going through some stuff on the air there. So I'm not stressing. I know it'll happen when she's available. She's already told me she's more than willing to do it. Priorities over passions, as the simple man likes to say.
Damn right.
As far as La Princesa goes, you're busy when you're the champ.
Yeah.
You're in high demand. So I totally understand that. It's not like she hasn't given us her time in an interview before. I know when she has the opportunity to get back to us, we'll set it up again. So those are still in the pipeline. It's just a matter of getting a date set and making it happen.
All right,
otherwise, gonna try and use August as an opportunity to network. There's a couple other shows on the horizon that I'm gonna try to go to this month. Time and funds permitting. Next one being this coming Thursday. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's what's going on right now as far as me, as far as the Simply Reliable Studios. I know this Tuesday, not for us, this isn't anything to do with us, but some of us may be involved in it. This Tuesday is episode 400 of the No DQ review.
Oof.
So make sure you check out our friends at NoDQ.com on their YouTube channel, their X account for episode 400 of the review. I know the ORM Virtue is handling the first hour, and then he's, fuck this shit, I'm out. So Papa Vino will probably step in to take care of the rest of the show. That being said, make sure you follow and subscribe to Papa Gino.
Subscribe.
0017 on YouTube.
Papa Gino Network.
Major Push Wrestling, Rocket League, and the Prediction Leagues breakdown the Monday after every pay-per-view in PLE with that guy over on the other end, the simple man, Noah Foster.
And I currently lead both.
And I'm doing pretty damn good on the AEW league there, sir.
Yeah, you are actually. I'm quite impressed, actually. You have done predictions well, young Padawan. Anyway, continue. Look, I give credit where credit's due. All right, that being said, and I saw Jatilla, it's actually Jake. All right, you know what? You want to go there? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Superman IT. I am the Superman Noah Foster, and I'm going to tell you right now what's going on here. Sometimes what happens is an audio feedback when it comes to the levels of your devices, when it comes between your speaker and your microphone. When one is up higher than the other, it actually can be picked up by another audio source. The unbalance between the speakers and the microphone on JJ's speed allows his voice to actually be amplified based on what is interpreted from my screen. As you hear now, since he muted, there is no longer an echo effect. So here is a Simpleman IT one-on-one little thing. Because when you deal with multiple people on a virtual environment, make sure everybody has the appropriate equipment. Case in point, a headset. For a headset has, hopefully, if you buy a proper one, an internal speaker and mic that you can moderate. And you can get those very cheaply, by the way, on Amazon or Temu, as I use Logitech primarily for work. So again, in short, if you're going to deal with digital communications, be sure to invest in the appropriate equipment and set your audio properly for both the microphone and speaker. God bless you, Walter, and thank you for coming to this IT session.
Yeah, usually I use my earpiece for this, but because I was eating when I first joined, I didn't plug my headset in because I didn't want to be jockeying around with the headset and trying to eat and everything. And I know if I'm already in here and then I plug it in, it usually goes re-row. So I just figured not to fuck with it tonight.
Well,
so
look at it this way.
I apologize if I'm causing an echo, which is part of why I've tried to mute when I'm not talking.
Yeah, and again, if people want to talk about it, I'll acknowledge it, but I'm also going to give you a legitimate reason why it's happening, and then you all can shut the TF up about it with all due respect for those that, of course, want maybe a more, don't see this nonsense. It's called Shenanigans for a reason. It's not just the people on screen, it's the technology, damn it. That being said, again, thank you all for tuning in. Now that I got my IT session out of the way, I'm done with enough IT bullcrap for 1 week, I'll tell you that much. And again, thank you, JJ, and thank you, everybody. If folks, really, we're going to bring it up this late. Really? We're going there. He moved himself down there just to point down to that. Really? All right.
That tells you.
Well, I knew he was going to go all in on that comment eventually, as we will go all in on that match. And if you thought I was passionate during Chelsea Green, you ain't seen nothing yet. Suck it, Will. With that being said, thank you all so much. If you all want to find me, good luck. I am introverted, and I also don't mess around with social media. Hey.
No, not again. Not again.
Stop that! Anyway, find me. I'm going to delete that out of here. I swear. Enough! Damn it, the man in suit's talking, you all stop it.
That wasn't me that time.
Dang! Bloody freaking hell. Find me if you choose. This is why I stay so freaking out of the public view and even on YouTube. And at Foster1916 on the X or on YouTube. For I am nothing more, bloody freaking hell, but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! I am not Canadian. Non-copyright public domain.
No.
This is what happens when you got two producers on the
Don't worry, Noah. I dig what you're saying.
That works.
Are you done yet? Are we done yet? That's it.
Damn. Walk Elijah.
Would you at least have enough patience to wait before the thank you is on the screen before you further mess with anything? Again, stay tuned for the Simple Session this Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live at the Swimmen's brand, and freaking... and freaking Batty for wrestling. When it comes to, again, some sort of game she has planned, and we will have another bad bracket breakdown as we bring you up to speed on the G1 Climax. Stay tuned again for the Shenanigans next week. Who knows what the frick's going to happen there? Because, of course, that will lead into the coverage of the G1 Climax Finals. That will be next Sunday. You saw the watch-alongs. We got TNA Lockdown, if they still know what that means. We got AEW All In, where Will Nigo defends against JJ's favorite. And we also have Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. We have Ring of Honor for Dishonor, so much more independent wrestling, and of course, so much more to come. I just checked the schedule. I will be on the review this coming Tuesday. Say I know the queue. Support our friends there. Go check that out. See if he who should not be named shows up during the first hour or waits to the very end of that marathon stream. And stay tuned next time when me and Papagino break it down and just break down, or of course, bring a major push to professional wrestling. And that's all I really gotta say and chill for now. As I like to conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters, just fans of opinions, so this passion me I'll share. So at the end of the day, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families, no matter how much the producing roles want to freaking annoy you. and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell if you're on any of the YouTube channels here under the Simply Reliable Studios. Oh my gosh! This is what happens when you got more than one producer at the helm. This is why WWE sucks so bad with creative. They don't dance to more than one freaking head of the Hydra. Oh my gosh. Stop that! I don't even play legal, alright?
I missed this.
Gosh.
I missed being a part of this.
I am so damn glad we only gotta deal with you idiots once a week. That being said, again, I'm gonna finally get us off screen before they play everything here. That's non-copyright. For the two idiots on the top row with me, JJ and Walter, I love them and I hate them at the same time. For Charles, for Ash, for Nick, who's a dumbass, and for all of you in the chat, and for King, who somehow is awake at this time in Oklahoma, you asshole, and for every one of you that love to see this expensive identity and my blood pressure boiling. I leave you with this. The word triumph comes with two things before it. Try and oomph, as both lead to accomplishment. Think about that. And until the next time I'm on this screen, I'm going to do my best to take a vacation away from this and let you all run the chaos without me. There's the calm madness in your life. And until next time, make a positive impact in life. Have a good night, and thank you for tuning in once again to another insane edition of the Saturday Shenanigans, Injury Report, and Audio Effects. Someone cut the fucking feed. Dumbasses.